Well, hello everyone. Happy Friday and welcome to the Ron Henry Lawn Care live stream. My name is Ron Henry and I'm here to answer your lawn care questions as best I can. If you're new to the channel, new to the live stream, welcome. And the way this works is you simply drop your questions into the chat and I work through them in the order they come in. And in general, we just have a great time talking about lawn care projects. You know, anything is fair game as far as it's related to the lawn. So let's see what we have in the live stream tonight. We got Craig is starting out with a great question on PGR. Craig, we're definitely going to get to that question. We got Mark F in the house. He's saying greetings from Phoenix, or from Pine Top, Lakeside, Arizona, where it's 81. I'm jonesing to get back to Phoenix tomorrow because I haven't mowed since we left Monday morning. See, Monday. Wow, that's 5 days. Yeah, man, that's rough. I'd be scratching, man. Yeah, like you said, the addiction is definitely real. Let's see. So we got going on here. Lee talking about the grass sample experiments I'm doing. Can't wait to see for you to join in and the good guys that have Zoysia. Cool, we'll get to that, man. But let's get to our first question. The first question is actually one of the talking points that I had tonight. So Craig, thank you so much for asking that. Question is from Craig Dills. He says, Ron Henry says, hope you're doing well. I am doing well, sir. I can't complain. Cannot complain. He says, how do you keep track of your PGR regulation? Greenskeeper app, manual chart of growing degree days, a horoscope, other magical and mystical measures? No, just a plain old calendar, Craig. So pretty much the way I've done it, I know there are people that use the Greenskeeper app, and there is definitely some value in that if you're really trying to get super precise. But I just simply do it once a month. So the beginning of the month, like actually here, this weekend is actually gonna be a pretty busy weekend. I just do it at the beginning of every month, kind of like when I put down my my carbon kit, liquid fert, granular fert, granular carbon. Like the beginning of the month is always really busy around the lawn, and then the middle of the month is just a follow-up liquid fert. But the way I track PGR literally is just monthly. I just put it down monthly. And I have spoken to some viewers where they have needed to apply it around that 3-week mark, because TNEX, if you're talking about TNEX, I'm assuming, is usually good for around 3 to 4 weeks worth of regulation, right? So in my case, I get closer to that 4-week, thereabouts. Because again, so my case, again, once per month, beginning of the month is what I do, and it seems to be working pretty well. I try to keep things as simple as possible, because given that I have 12,000 square feet, I don't want to have to get out there and do another application just for PGR if I can avoid it, So PGR mixes really nicely with everything else I have to apply at the beginning of the month. So that's why I just do it then. Great question, though. All right. So Lee Farmer says, Ron, love all the grass sample experiments you're doing. Can't wait for you to join the good guys and have a yard full of Zoysia. So what Lee is talking about, guys, is in the Golf Course Lawn Academy, they got to see this first. So I had so much fun. You guys probably saw the thumbnail for this live stream. Is the desk lawn that I got from the lawn tools. So I thought, you know what? Why not do something more fun? Why not do like a Bermuda versus Zoysia? And just for fun, we're gonna throw in some ryegrass. So I got some planters, and I think I can make this work here. So if I can pull it up, showing you guys what I've got going on. So I just started this yesterday. So this is the grass planter. We've got Compadre Zoysia, which is Bob. We got Arden 15, got to rock out. That's Bermuda, Leroy J. And then finally, we have the Lawn Tools Rye, which is Alice. I'm not sure what kind of rye they sent me, so that's why it's just called Lawn Tools Rye. And Compadre Zoysia, I just called up Hancock Seed and said, hey, listen, I'm looking for a nice Zoysia because I don't want, the Zoysia zealots. So, people like Lee, other people, S. Bender. I don't want them to come in and be, oh, you didn't choose a good Zoysia. We want you to make sure you chose a really good one to compete with the awesomeness that is Arden 15, right? So we've got a Zoysia lawn, we've got a Zoysia seed that we're going to grow in. We've got a Bermuda grass seed, Arden 15, which we're going to grow in as well. So I actually got 2 Arden 15 plots going on now. And then just to mix things up a little bit, we've got ryegrass that we're going to be planting and growing into. I expect the rye to germinate a lot sooner. I mean, the temps are probably getting a little bit warm for rye, but it still should come in pretty cool. And it should be a fun experiment, fun content for you guys to check out and see. I have no idea what's going to happen, but we're gonna see. And as far as the mixture that I used for that, Lee, it's carbonized PN is the base, and then I mix also some Essential G in with it as well. And then also I put down some Humic Max. So I mix a little bit of fertilizer in there too. So it's like one big concoction, really, really healthy, rich material to grow everything in. So I'm hoping we get pretty good germination here now that we've got lots of temperatures and they're just sitting out there on the patio. Hopefully they should come in really cool. So should be a lot of fun. Well, you guys will definitely, see anything that happens with that. If you have any ideas for like cool experiments, let me know. We'll play with it for sure. All right, next question we got up here is from S. Bender. Says, hey Ron, do you put down carbon granular at the beginning of the month and then 2 weeks later put down the carbon kit? Also, what are your thoughts on liquid iron? Thanks. Great question. All right, so the granular carbon kit, the beginning of the month, the beginning of my month anyway, is normally the busiest time. That is when humic max goes down. That is when granular carbons like Essential G goes down. That is when the first application of Turfplex also goes down. So my fertilizer and liquid and granular carbon all go down the first part of the month. So this weekend that's gonna be happening. This is Memorial Day weekend. Great time to work in the lawn if you have time to get out there and do it. And because the first day of June is I think Tuesday, this weekend is really the time to do it, right? So all of those will go down the first part of this weekend, first part of the month. And then on the 15th or in middle of June is when another follow-up application of Turfplex, this fertilizer here, liquid fertilizer I like to use, that's going to go down. So the first part of the month super busy, and the middle of the month is just the liquid fert, and it's just a lot of mowing in between. Then that's how that works. And on the topic of Memorial Day weekend. I again talked to the nice folks at Miramichi Green, and they've agreed to discount all the products on the store at 10% off between starting tonight at midnight. So Saturday through Monday at midnight. So if we take a look here, show you exactly what that's going to look like. So let me refresh this. So there's going to be a Memorial Day sale. The code you have to use when you check out is code Memorial Day. So make sure you use that at checkout, Memorial Day, and it'll save you 10% on Miramichi Green products. So the Carbon Kit, Release Zero, NutriKelp, not Turflex, but Essential G, anything made by Miramichi Green, you will save 10% between now and Monday at midnight. So don't try it now. It's not going to work now, but literally, depending on how long the live stream goes, if you want to save super late, you can get it in at midnight, or tomorrow you can order it. But throughout the entire weekend, I'll also be posting to YouTube and also to my other social media about it. But yeah, the coupon code is super easy to remember, Memorial Day. And that's going to save you 10% on the Miramichi Green products. Great stuff. All right, let's see who else we got in the house here. We got Higgy Pop in the house from Cumming, Georgia. What's going on, Higgy Pop? And of course, we have Dalvin in the house. So looks like Longineer. Vince is in the house. What's going on, Vince? Thanks for coming to hang out this evening. I always appreciate it. I always like to see other YouTubers coming in and hang out in the live stream. It's always fun. And then the next question or next point we have here is Dalvin Larry saying, "Hey, Ron, just came in from outside. I was doing my rain dance for this weekend storms. I need the water." So, aren't we just like a really, ungrateful bunch? Like all we wanted was hot weather. We got hot weather now, and now we're not getting any rain. From what I understand, like in the forecast, we might get some rain tonight in Georgia, and then it's not going to be till late next week. Then we're supposed to get like a string of a few days where we have thunderstorms. So we shall see how that works out. But yeah, I'd like to have some water too. I actually like to have water if I can, like Monday, because I'm gonna get all my fertilization and a carbon kit and everything put down probably Sunday. So if I can get that on Monday, that would be really nice. But we'll see. Worst case, I'll just end up having to water it, but we'll go from there. Also, guys, you guys may notice I'm sporting a different shirt tonight. Special thanks out to Josh Habib. So he took it upon himself to get a picture of my mower. This is my actual mower, actually my 1600. And you can see he did a shirt here, 1600. On the back of it, it says Stripe Action, but a really, really cool shirt that I got as a gift from Josh. So thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciate it. It's an awesome shirt. I didn't even want to sweat in it. The first time I'm wearing it is literally for the live stream, and I'll probably use it in YouTube videos, but I don't want to get it all dirty. It's a nice shirt. It's really nice material, and I enjoy it. So so thank you so much for that, sir. Really, really appreciate it. Much appreciated. All right, so let's see what else we have going on here. Higgy Pop saying, "Let's support Ron. Hit the like button. It's easy and free." I do agree with that. Thank you so much, Higgy Pop. Yep, if you guys are settling down with your beverage of choice, as you guys see now, Josh has also hooked me up with a branded cup, so no more free advertising, QT. I got my Ron Henry chalice here with Chick-fil-A lemonade. It's I went premium tonight, guys. It's Memorial Day weekend. You gotta step it up, right? And so yeah. But yeah, hit the like button if you guys would like. It's free and it's an easy way to support the channel. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. I got Joseph Roberts in the house. Hey, Joseph, how's it going? And we got Thomas Tucker. He's talking about the sale that's on the shop right now. Yep. So again, Thomas, as you said, 10% off of everything made by Miramichi Green that's on the store. Feel free to take advantage of that. It's good until Monday at midnight. So don't wait. And they're definitely not going to extend it past that. Literally, it's already set to shut off at midnight. Great stuff. All right, so I have another question here from Robert Wallace. He's chiming in. He says, "When is the best time of day to apply the 1608 Humic Max?" Robert, doesn't really matter on the granular. You can do it in the morning when you're doing the liquid. So a good example, what I will end up doing whenever I put them down. I tend to do the granular first, and then I do all my foliars afterwards. So it's kind of your choice which way you want to go. But I like to do all the granulars. So in my case, humic max will go down, essential G will go down, and then I'll spray my concoction that consists of PGR, plant growth regulator, so T-Nex. It's going to contain the carbon kit, the Miramichi Green Carbon Kit, Release Zero, NutriKelp, and Biospectrum. And yeah, that's, and again, so Turflex, Carbon Kit, and PGR, and all those mix really nicely together. I've tested it, and that's what's going to go down after the granular products. I figure, I mean, it's not really watering in, but I mean, you figure, you know, putting. I like to put the liquids down after the granulars, because I don't want to, like, you know, go through and spray, do a foliar application and then walk all over the lawn with the spreader and, you know, just and spray granules all over it. So I do the granulars first, and then followed by liquid. And then remember, for best results, what I would recommend is, if you're doing it my way, if you're applying them all on the same day. So let's say Sunday you're going to be, or say tomorrow you're applying Humic Max and you're putting down, you know, granular carbon, Carbon Pro G, Essential G, whatever it happens to be, and you're also spraying. What we're going to do is, you're going to do all that on the same day. You can do it all in the morning if you want, but you're not going to water the Humic Max in until the following day, because we want to give the foliar applications, so the liquid stuff that we're spraying, we want to give those, you know, really 6 hours is enough, but really I just give it a full day before putting a lot of water on the lawn to water in the Humic Max and the Essential G, right? It's not going to hurt anything. That's how I've been doing it, and that's a good way to save time, while not like working against yourself by, you know, spraying a ton of water on the lawn right after doing a foliar application. Great question. We got the Lawn Master in the house. What's going on, Lawn Master? Thanks for coming to hang out. I always appreciate it. I already said hey to Vince, and let's see who else we got in the live stream tonight. We got Tony Valdez in the house. What's going on, Tony? JC's in the house, and Helmet Ruckus. He says, every morning I have a flock of birds feeding on insects in my lawn, up till this morning where I applied Hydrotane granular for the first time. The smell obviously kept them away. That's interesting, because I don't really find too much of a smell out of the Hydrotane. I noticed that Essential G definitely has a smell to it. It's got a little kick, but the Hydrotane, I've not noticed a scent. But you're right. Maybe there's something that they're picking up that that's, you know, keeping them away from it. They're not liking. So just something to you know, I guess it's a good thing. They're not going to be on your lawn eating like the earthworms and all that stuff and whatnot. So very, very cool. And guys, also, you know, I want to give all you guys a special thank you. You know, the channel yesterday crossed 20,000 subscribers. I think we're at like 2,100 now between yesterday and today. So it's growing a little bit more. But thank you guys all so much for the support over the years to grow the channel to where it is. I never expected things to get this big, and I really appreciate all the support, love, and the trust, the confidence you guys give in me, putting me to put out good content, and that you guys respond well to. So thank you guys so much for that. I really do appreciate it. All right, so Anthony Allen is saying, Ron, thanks for all you do. You're very, very welcome, sir. And we got Daryl. Daryl is a madman, man. Daryl is you know, did a huge top dressing project. And it's you know, he's sending me pictures. It's coming along really well. At some point, Daryl, I got to get get those pictures and share them on the live stream and start showing people like how your lawn is moving, progressing, and how it's doing. But yeah, that's really good. Thanks for coming to hang out in the live stream tonight. Very, very cool. All right, so we have a question from Craig. It says, if you could trade lawns with any YouTuber for a season, whose do you want? Man, that's a tough one. I'm not sure. Whose lawn do I want for a season? It has to be something I can mow short. I don't know. That's a tough one. It'd have to be, I don't know. I'm not sure. I like a nice AZ's lawn. Like his lawn is really tight. I guess a cool season lawn would be cool to mess around with, I guess. I just don't want to have to trade with having to like live in cool season weather. So I'm not sure. I have to think about that one and get back to you as I go through the live stream, Craig. That's a good question. I've never actually thought about that one. I'm not sure on that one. All right, the Longineer, Vincent Longineer says, what are your Memorial Day plans? I don't know. I'll probably get out and do something other than lawn stuff. I mean, obviously, gonna mow. I mean, that's gotta happen at some point. I mowed this morning, so probably, seeing as how all the fertilization and everything is gonna go down Sunday, I might mow again tomorrow just to kind of get ahead of it, and then put all my stuff down Sunday, and then that'll be it. Outside of that, I don't know, maybe get out, eat somewhere, just relax, hang out, just do a little bit, do a whole lot of nothing. You know, it's kind of, it's kind of rare to have like, a quiet Friday and then an entire like a Monday off, so a really long weekend. So just plan to do a whole lot of nothing. That's the plan, And guys, one thing I was talking about, and Craig kind of asked about it already, is around PGR. Like, if you are considering PGR on your lawn, like, now would be the time to consider that to go. If you were saying, well, when is the right time to put down plant growth regulator? I tend to do mine. I've already had it on my lawn for a month now. I started in early May, but like, now that we're getting consistent heat, especially if you're in the Southeast, now would be the time to get on that PGR train if you are looking to get a deeper green, reduce your mowing frequency, just get a tighter lawn. There's tons of benefits to PGR, so something to just consider on that. And if you're going with something like T-Nex, which is what I'd recommend for most people, just know that on most lawns, on most warm season lawns anyway, so for Bermuda, Zoysia, you're going to be applying that at 1/4 ounce, so 0.25 ounces per 1,000 square feet. So it means if you have a 4-gallon backpack sprayer, and I kind of show this in a video. I have a video on the topic. It's the one that has the mower as a thumbnail saying, like, cut your mowing in half. Watch that video, because it actually shows you like how much 1 ounce of T-Nex is. It looks a lot less than you think. Because you definitely don't want to go heavy. I've already gotten some emails from some people saying, they went like, 1 ounce per 1,000. Some people went even heavier than that. So I'm just trying to head off, any of the horror stories from over application of PGR, like 1/4 ounce per 1,000 square feet, or 1 ounce in 4 gallons of water in a backpack sprayer. And then you're going to be good to go. That's a nice safe rate for most warm season lawns. With Bermuda, you can go a little bit heavier. You can go up to the 0.38 thereabouts. But, if you just want to be safe, you just want to kind of ease into it, 1/4 ounce per 1,000 square feet, and you're going to be good to go. And I've got a couple of videos on how to apply it. So if you need that, just check the channel. All right, let's see what else we have here. So S. Bender has a follow-up question. Says, I'm thinking about putting out hydrochain on just parts of my yard that dry out the most. Would that work? Sure, it absolutely would work. The one thing I might say though is, if it you might get some color differences if you do that. Like if you apply hydrochain to one part of your lawn and you like exclude it from another part of the lawn that are close, like visually you can see both of them at the same time. I might not do that because, as the summer heat gets here and that portion that has hydrochain is doing better, like color-wise, they're going to look different, right? Because this part of the lawn is essentially getting more moisture and this one isn't. So if you're talking about doing the front lawn with hydrochain and the back lawn no hydrochain, or vice versa, that could work. But I wouldn't do two pieces of the lawn that are right next to each other, where if someone is looking at it, they could be like, huh, that's really green and that's like less green. I wonder what happened there. And it's going to drive you crazy. Like it would totally drive me crazy. So just something to consider. And you absolutely should put that down. Give it a shot. I mean, I've had it on my lawn. I did it right after the PGR, after the top dressing. So it's been on about a month. An application of hydrochain lasts 90 days thereabouts. I've got it on the golf course lawn store in a granular, which is how I like to apply it. If you got a smaller lawn, the liquid might be easier, but yeah, definitely. If you're looking to try that out, I've got it here on the golf course lawn store, and it's good technology. The lawn looks absolutely great this year, and in addition to everything else I've been doing, I'm sure having a moisture manager to help keep help the root zone retain some moisture isn't going to hurt either. So hopefully that helps. S. Bender, definitely let me know how it works out. And if you have any questions, definitely reach out. No problems whatsoever. But I definitely endorse hydrochain. The product makes a lot of sense. All right, let's see what else we have here. So Lawn Therapy is chiming in. It says, hey, Ron, I sprayed T-Nex on 5/16. Okay, so 15 days ago, thereabouts. I plan on top dressing next week. The T-Nex suppression should run out at the end of next week. Could the rebound phase of PGR help the grass bounce back sooner? Absolutely. Yeah, so that's a strategy that some people like to use. They'll apply T-Nex, and because it really lasts, again, between 3 to 4 weeks, depending on rain and temperature and a couple of other factors, that they kind of leverage that to top dress and then have the lawn recover from top dressing sooner. That absolutely can work. I can tell you, I have top dressed my lawn with it under regulation. So like last year, I top dressed and starting from May until October, the lawn was in regulation the entire time. And there was never a time when the lawn was not in regulation, even with top dressing. I will tell you that it does take a little bit longer to punch through. Like if you go super heavy, which I don't, But if you have any parts of your lawn that are a little bit heavier, like you're trying to, like a rut that you're trying to build up or anything like that, that's when you definitely want to avoid PGR, because it's just going to take longer for it to grow through. But if you're doing a light top dressing, where you're not really doing a ton of things to cover up the grass blades and that kind of thing, it's not going to materially hurt things too badly. But what you're talking about is exactly a good strategy, especially if you're going to go a little bit heavier. Should be no problem whatsoever. So a good example is like Alex's lawn and my lawn both got top dressed on the same day. And really my back lawn and his lawn have recovered about the same rate. His lawn maybe came back a little bit sooner, but we're talking a couple of days difference. It's not like a several weeks kind of difference between like PGR and no PGR, assuming that the top dressing is the same on both lawns. So that makes sense. So yeah, what you're doing sounds like a great plan. Definitely do it. Let me know how it works out. It's because the rebound effect is true, man. If your lawn comes out of regulation, you'll notice it. The grass will definitely shoot up. It'll definitely, you'll notice very, very abnormal amounts of growth in a short period of time, which is kind of handy for top dressing. All right, great question. So let's see what else we have here. We got Grace Ortiz in the house. What's going on? Grace says, hey guys, I was able to mow before the rain started. Always good, always good. And we have Mr. YouTube Royalty, LG, in the house. What's going on, sir? Thanks for coming to hang out in the live stream. Always appreciate you. Thanks so much. All right, and Dalvin Larry has a great question. He says, when applying your granulars, do you actually weigh the exact amount on a scale or just go by bag label? Watch the video of a guy actually weighing his fert. So in my case, you think about it, a bag of Humic Max covers up to 15,000 square feet. I've got 12,000 square feet. And because I've done it so many times, I know how much to pour. I leave it's hard to say in a bag, but I leave about this much left in the bag. And that normally gets me to the end of my lawn, right? So I've done it so often enough that I know that my walking pace is pretty good. I'm able to know how much fertilizer is going to cover a lawn. Now, in a case where I do weigh things, a good example, when I did that video at the Real Rollers Turf Park, we were comparing the liquid prodiamine and the granular prodiamine. That was a case where I did weigh the product, right? Because one, you're dealing with anything with side in it, you want to pay attention, right? We're dealing with a herbicide, and I wanted to make sure that we applied the pre-emergent at like the correct rate. We didn't go too heavy, didn't go too light. So in that case, on that video, you'll notice that we actually broke the scale out. We actually weighed it out in a bucket, poured that in the hopper, and we applied it based on how much square footage we had and how much material we actually put in the hopper. So I would definitely say for the first time, Dalvin, if you're getting new to taking care of your own lawn, and you just want to make sure that you're getting things at the right rate, you don't want to go too heavy, then yes, absolutely, weighing it is a good strategy. It's something you probably should do just until you kind of get your legs around, like, one, how fast do I need to walk? How much material does it take to cover my lawn? Those kinds of things. But then after you've done it a few times, you're gonna be able to know, okay, I'm putting down Humic Max again. So I need to put this much in, and with my normal walking pace, that's gonna pretty much get me the result that I need on my lawn. For things like granular carbon, I don't really weigh those. I don't weigh those because there's not really any danger of over application other than like hurting your wallet. And again, because I've done it so often on my lawn, I know for my lawn, 3 bags is already heavy, and I use 3 bags if it's Carbon Pro G on my entire lawn. If I use the Essential G, I do like between 5 to 6 bags depending on how I'm feeling. But thereabouts is how I go about it. But it's a good idea. There is something to that. It's a good idea if you're new to applying products to your lawn, because you want to be careful to not over apply, especially if you're dealing with something that has herbicides in it or any kind of quick release fertilizer that has a chance of burning your lawn. We've got a couple super chats. Let me run down here and take care of these. We got one from Clayton Wilson. First one, thank you so much, sir.
Super chat received.
He says, hello, Ron. Thanks for all the advice. I have a few deep holes developing where I remove some trees. Any suggestions for a mini top dressing to smooth these areas out? Not ready to do the entire lawn. Yeah, so it's a great question, Clayton. So for something like that, I think a mix, you go a 70-30 mix, depending on how deep you're going. You could go as light as 50-50, just depending on what you're going for. But I would do a mixture of some sand and some soil/compost. You absolutely can do that. You didn't say how deep the holes were, but I can tell you that a buddy of mine here in the neighborhood had a rut issue in his lawn that was probably around 4 inches deep, and he did, he asked me, Ron, what do you think? Should I just do it all at once or do it over time? And I said, for me, I'd probably do 2 inches, and then grow in, then do another 2 inches. And of course, what does he do? He did the entire thing all in one go. And the grass grew through just fine. The Bermuda grew through just fine. Because this is actually the picture that I had from last week to show you guys that what you're seeing there, that left side, where you're seeing all sand, that's a 4-inch rut, and you can see the Bermuda punch through that, no problems whatsoever. So depending on how deep of an area we're dealing with here, Clayton, you may have to split it up. You may be able to get it all in one go, or you may have to do multiple. The good news is you've got plenty of time in the season, right? So you can do one now. You could do a follow-up in mid-July. And that's, between those two, you should be able to get the lawn or that area that you're dealing with looking fairly good. So that is what I would do. All right, we have our second super chat here from S. Bender. Thank you so much. S. Bender, really appreciate it.
Super chat, proceed.
It says, both neighbors on either side of me ripped out the Bermuda and got zoysia lawns in the past 2 weeks. Your thoughts on liquid iron? Okay, so, here's the thing. The knowledge that we're talking about as far as warm season grass, we can't have like hate crimes against grass. Why? I don't understand why we're taking Bermuda out and putting zoysia in. I mean, zoysia's it's a nice lawn, it's nice grass, but why are we taking out the Bermuda? And I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I'm gonna have to start putting disclaimers in my video saying if you have a zoysia lawn, this is not for you, or something like that. Anyway, all jokes aside, that's cool that your neighbors are probably doing it because they see how your lawn looks. I know you've been putting a ton of work in on your lawn, and they're probably looking at it saying, hey, my Bermuda's not looking like S. Bender, so I gotta, I'm gonna get the same grass and see if they get the same result. But you gotta let them know. You gotta let them know everything else you're doing. You can't just let them know it's the grass type. There's more to it than just the grass type, right? And my thoughts on liquid iron. So here's the thing. I tend to use products that have iron in them. So a great example is the Turfplex. Like this guy here is my liquid fertilizer of choice. This guy has, I want to say it's 3% iron. Am I correct? 3 or 2% iron. Let's see here. No, it's actually small. It's a tenth of a percent of iron. So very, very light iron in this guy. But I'm thinking of Brand Supreme Green. I still have that on the brain. But yeah, this has some iron in it, and also the Nutrizol that I apply as well also has liquid iron in it. So I've never actually applied any products by themselves that are a straight iron product. I know there is, I think there's one called Feature that people like, and there's Ironite. I've never tried any of those. You can definitely use them without a, you get a good result with it. I mean, just follow the rate. Your lawn's going to get really, really dark green. It'll last for, on average, typically a week to 10 days, and then it'll fall off and go back to the color it was before. So if you're looking for something to give your lawn that extra pop, so you get your neighbors getting the zoysia lawn, right? I know where this question is from. You want to know how you can have that domination factor for 4th of July. So if you want to do something with liquid iron in it, I would put it down 3 or 4 days up to whenever you're planning to get the lawn to peak to kind of look its best. And that's gonna give you a really good result. So yeah, liquid iron, there absolutely is some benefit to it. The Nutrizol has iron in it. The Turfplex has iron in it. And I'm not sure what product in particular you're considering, but using that, there is some merit to it. I just haven't had the need. Like what you guys see on my lawn is literally Turfplex, the Carbon Kit, and Humic Max, and a little bit and a splash of Nutrizol. I don't even put the Nutrizol down at full rate because this already has, like I said, a micronutrients in it. So if you like the color of my lawn, then that's what I'm using to do it. I'm not actually doing any additional iron supplementation on top of that. So it just depends on what you are after. We got another super chat here from Kevin Sheehan. What's going on, Kevin? I really appreciate it. He says, good evening, all. Great job, Ron. Always looking forward to Friday nights. I always look forward to talking to you guys, and I am thankful that you guys are taking some time to hang out. I'm going to scroll back up and get to the other questions, guys. I just want to get down and take care of the super chats. And we obviously have the man of the hour, the man, the myth, the legend, Alexander Lees is quickly popping in because we're out at dinner. Love this community. Thanks for coming to hang out. Alex, always fun. You gotta let me know where you guys went for dinner and like if it was good eats. Always fun. And Alex, if you guys ever watched the Fix My Ugly Lawn series, like the series I keep trying to get you guys to watch on how to improve your lawn, Alex is the guy that stars in that. That's my next door neighbor, and he's the one that is the person that transformed his lawn from like ordinary to extraordinary over the course of about 3 months or so. So if you want to see what's possible with a whole lot of work, whole lot of mowing, and some good advice, some good guidance, check out the Fix My Ugly Lawn series starring Alex Lee's Lawn. All right, let's see what else we have here as far as comments. We got JG in the house. What's going on, JG? Happy Friday. Thanks for coming to hang out. We got Luis Castillo. What's going on? Thanks for coming to hang out, sir. Really appreciate it, as always. We have Metro Retro. What's going on? Thanks for coming to hang out in the live streams. Thanks so much. I really appreciate you guys taking some time out of your busy Friday evening to hang out with me. And then we have Jay in the house. So he says, yo, Ron, stopped at Site 1 today for some Carbon Pro G, and the guy was talking about a Moisture Manager Granular QD. Ever hear about that? At $100 a bag seems steep. Yes, so what they're actually selling is Hydrotane. That Moisture Manager QD, if you look at my video, Jay, on watering, and I'll actually post it here in the chat for you guys to be able to see what I'm talking about. But there's a video I did on watering, and near the end of that video, I show a moisture manager, and it's the same one that Site 1 is carrying, and it's Hydrotane. It's basically Hydrotane in a huge bag, right? So it's a product that Hydrotane makes for them. So we do at J Pompano. And there we go, and boom. So that video that I just put in chat, at the end of that video, it talks about that particular product, and it's Hydrotane. Hydrotane, like literally, Ecologel makes that or bags that for them. If you go to their website, you'll actually see that listed on the site. And at $100 a bag, yeah, I mean it is kind of steep. Like my local one has it for a little bit better than that. It's close. I think it's closer to 80 or so on my local one. But I mean, I'm not sure if different regions or whatever, if they're charging different prices. But yeah, I mean, you think about it. Yes, $100 a bag does sound steep, and the granular, given what it covers, is more expensive to apply than the liquid. But you think about it, this thing can cut your watering in half. So in other words, if you're watering your lawn twice a week, if you're only having to water it once per week, the savings in water and also in your time over the course of 3 months over the course of a summer could be worth it. I mean, more consistent color and just you're saving water. I mean, that's not so bad. I wouldn't necessarily look at it as $100 for one setting. I'd take $100 and extrapolate that over like 3 months. So we're like really at $33 a month again, which is still not cheap. But given what you're getting out of the product, I think it's worth it. It definitely would save me money on watering. So that's why I've been trying it out this season, and so far, I mean, coupled with everything else that's going on, it seems to be making a difference. Again, the lawn has never looked this good at this time of year ever, like in the past. Look at my previous videos. Look at the lawn now. It's never looked like this good before. So Hydrotane definitely is not hurting that from happening. All right, let's see what else we have here. So we got the Wind Chariot saying, what's up, bro? Turf's up. What's going on, Wind Chariot? Thanks for coming to hang out. And we have a question from Keep It. It says, hey, Ron, what's the best collection mix of micronutrients? So best is subjective, right? Because if you ask, depending on who you ask, you're going to get a different answer. I can tell you what I use and what I like. If you're strictly looking for a micronutrient, meaning you don't care about fertilizer, you don't want any NPK, all you're looking just for micronutrients, I like the makeup of the Nutrizolve product. So let me show you that. Come over here to the store. So the Nutrizolve product with C Extra, which is their kelp product from Ecologel, this guy has every single one of the micronutrients, right? So you got your chelated iron, molybdenum, manganese, zinc, boron, copper, like everything is, especially the boron and copper, because a lot of times you'll find products that have micronutrients in them, and they'll have the manganese, they'll have the iron, maybe a little bit of zinc if you're lucky, but the other ones like the boron and copper, those are typically missing. This has all of them. The way it goes down is at 6 ounces per thousand. So if you're doing this along with the carbon kit and you're applying it the way that my spoon feeding program, I don't even put this down at the rate they recommend. They recommend 3 ounces per thousand. Because Turfplex already has some iron, some zinc, and some manganese in it, I tend to go a little bit lighter on the Nutrizolve. I put that down at around 3 to 4 ounces per thousand. So it makes the bottle go a little bit further. And it just saves, you're not wasting the product then. But if you want my advice, what I would use, if all you're looking for is a micronutrient, then Nutrizolve, that is what I would go with. And you can get that at the golf course lawn store. If you're looking for something that has some micronutrients and is also a great fertilizer for a spoon feeding program, then Turfplex, the product that I just showed you, in the video, this guy right here. This is what I'm spraying on my lawn every 15 days or so, this stuff. This has also, again, some iron, some manganese, a little bit of zinc, and this is not a complete micronutrient. It doesn't have everything that the Nutrizolve does. So got a couple of options depending on what you are looking for, if you want a fertilizer or not. So great question, man. I haven't been asked that one before. Great question. Hopefully that was useful. All right, let's see what else we got here. Wind Chariot is saying success with the overseed. That's good. It says, but weeds from the sand top dress is driving me nuts. Backbreaking work manually pulling the weeds. Yeah, man, you just got to kind of pick your poison at that. Whenever you're doing these kind of projects, it's you can't have it all, or at least you can't have it all at the same time, right? So if you're top dressing, you are putting down, you're seeding. Like a good example on my lawn, I put down no spring pre-emergent because I really wanted to give the Arden 15 the best possible opportunity to germinate and do well, and it has been doing really well. Both the front lawn and the back lawn is coming in really nice. It's looking gorgeous, loving it. But the negative to that is once this heat gets here, which we are starting to see, I'm going to be fighting some weeds. I'm sure throughout the throughout the season. I may have to go manually and pull some crabgrass if some grows in. I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm going to have to deal with is yet. Because the lawn has had pre-emergent on it every year, twice a year for the past 5.5 years, 6 years now. So we'll see. It'll be a cool experiment to see what kind of weed pressure I get with having no pre-emergent on the lawn. But you're doing the right thing, Wind Chariot. Here's the thing, right? With the overseeders you're doing, once the grass grows in and establishes nicely, so by the end of July, you should have a good stand of grass. The lawn should be looking really nice. At that point, if you want to go with a herbicide application to knock the weeds back a little bit, then feel free to go for it then. But at this point, with you being so young to the grass, with the grass being so just germinated, just now kind of getting its legs, I wouldn't want to put any kind of herbicides on it to undo all the hard work that you've been putting in. You know what I mean? So I know it stinks. It's not fun, but you'll love the way your lawn looks, and it's not worth it to take the chance of damaging the grass just to get rid of a few weeds. Now that would be my advice. But I get you. Like weeding the lawn manually, especially if you have a bigger lawn, is not necessarily fun. However, cry me a river, because really I weeded this entire 12,000 square feet manually. That little weeder you guys always see on the back of my mower that rolls around whenever I'm mowing in the morning, like that's what I used, So it'll be all right. I promise. It'll get better. It is definitely worth it. You're doing the right thing. All right, let's see here. So Daryl Tunstall has a question about reel mowing. All right, topic that's near and dear to my heart. He says, "Hey Ron, reel mower question. Always good. Having a grooved roller helps you keep your straight line than a smooth roller. Does it help with that?" Yes, it does. So a grooved roller does bite into the turf a little bit better. So as far as the more tracking straight, there are some benefits with a grooved roller for that purpose. But now here's some of the negatives, right? And it's not really a big negative, but it is something to consider. If you're someone that has like a curvy lawn, right? Or you're trying to like turn the mower without stopping. So you're trying to like mow around a curve or around a bend. That grooved roller is going to bite in. So it's going to be a little bit hard to turn. It's not like it's impossible, but it is noticeably harder to turn a reel mower that has a grooved roller on the front than one that is a smooth roller. However, if your heights of cut are, in my opinion, 3/4 of an inch or lower, grooved roller really makes a big difference in the way the turf looks. So I would just, I absolutely would recommend one. As far as another tip on getting a straight line, if you guys have been watching my YouTube stories, like sometimes when I wake up really early in the morning, before work starts, I'll get up at, just before 7 and get out there and mow the lawn and get it all done, get my sweat in, get the lawn all, great shape. Is because there's dew on the lawn, you can use that to help you get your line straighter. It's a kind of a pro tip, kind of an easy hack that if you have the ability to get up and mow super early in the morning, one, it's not super hot, so you're not going to be, melting in the sun. And then also, it's a great way to get your lines dead nuts straight, because you have a guide, right? As you're mowing, you can look at your lines and be like, oh, that one was a little bit off. You can make another pass to clean it up. So the dew is a great guide. And if you're mowing frequently enough, there's not really going to be an issue with clumping. Actually, this morning, I got up super early, a little bit earlier than usual, and I actually filmed mowing the back lawn. And I may or may not put it up on YouTube. I'm not sure if you guys really are interested in seeing that. I mean, it's just 30 minutes of me cutting the back lawn, so I don't know if there's much interest. If so, if you guys want to see it, we'll take you guys as a vote. If you guys want to see that, give me like a 1 in the chat. If you don't want to see it, don't say anything. But if you want to see it, you can put a 1 in, and then we'll go from there. Actually, no, we'll make it more scientific. 1 if you want to see it. 2 if you like. No, I don't want to see it. And then I'll decide. So I have the footage. I haven't decided if I'm going to upload it to YouTube or not, because again, it's just me mowing the lawn early in the morning. But it does look really good. The lighting was really good. You guys are going to get to see some cool stripe action if I do it. So you guys decide. All right. Let's see what LG's got here. He says, "Hey, at Ron Henry, what does the shirt say?" It says 1600 LG. So again, it's got the Greensmaster in all of its glory. Look at that. Look at tight, clean, and it says 1600 because it's a Greensmaster 1600. So I think he was thinking about doing like just in the number 1600, but just having like 1600 wouldn't look as cool as actually having it written out. So yeah, that's what it says. All right, let's see what else we got going on here. Raven Lowry says, I've learned so much from your channel, first time lawn care enthusiast, so lots to learn and test on my yard still. That's awesome, Raven. So the first thing, congratulations on taking the challenge to work on your lawn yourself. So a lot of people are really intimidated by that. There's lots of great content. There's my content. There's Alan's content. Princess's content. There's lots of great content out there. Like Vince does some great stuff if you're cool season lawn. There's lots of great content you can follow on different takes on how to get a great looking lawn. None is necessarily better than the other. I mean, I think the program that I put together for warm season grass is really, really good. But just depends, because what I do is a little bit probably more extreme than most people that are first starting out want to get into, but it just shows you what is possible with right amount of work. But yeah. The best advice I could give you is just go slow. If you have not gotten a soil test done, it's soil test time. It's the soil test time of the live stream, guys. If you've not gotten a soil test done, I highly recommend one. This is the one that I use from my soil. I'm actually got to do one this weekend. It's one of the things I have to get done this weekend too. Get my June soil test samples sent in. But yeah, get a soil test done because that's going to allow you to know what fertilizer that is a good match for your lawn, for your soil. And then outside of that, just mow. Mowing is literally the secret sauce. A lot of the other things that we talk about do make a big difference, like using the carbon products and a good granular products. A quality fertilizer obviously helps. But mowing is the thing that's going to tie it all together. Mowing is going to allow you to see the benefits of all your work, right? Because when you mow your lawn and it's still nice and vibrant and green between mowing because your frequency is right and you're giving the right mixture of chemicals and products, it's going to look awesome. So take your time, enjoy it. If you have any questions, definitely drop them in the chat of any of the videos, and I'll do my best to help you out. So thank you so much for being a first time viewer and listener, and welcome. I appreciate it. All right. Let's see what other questions we have here. So Jason Orchada says, hey, Ron, I was wondering, after aeration, do you actually chop up the plugs with your real mower or do you use the rotary mower? I don't own a rotary mower, so what happened last year? This year didn't happen, but what happened last year is the True Cut was the sacrificial mower. What I tend to do with the True Cut is I wait until I get my top dressing done, and I'll run over all the plugs with that, and then I'll take it in, send it in for sharpening, and then it's all perfect and good to go for the rest of the season. This year, Jason, because I top dressed the entire back lawn, just the mere fact of just using the leveling rake, that was enough to break up the plugs, right? So I didn't pick up any plugs off of the lawn. If you're interested in seeing how that worked out, I'll give you the video here. I actually have a section of the video where I talk about that very topic about like picking up plugs on your lawn. So see at Jason, yep, there. So that video that I just linked in the chat to you, that one in that video after the aeration portion, I talk about picking up plugs on the lawn. Here's the thing, I've always had a strong opinion about it, but I have never done it because on my soil and also Alex's soil, like the plugs just literally they disintegrate. If I leave them there after a few days, they're going to dry up and they begin to break down. And in my case, when I top dress, they also broke down. Now, if you're a person that has like seriously dense clay plugs to where once they get out in the sun, they turn into little rocks. Yeah, you probably don't want to be hitting that with your real mower. If you have a rotary mower, you could, but I mean, even then, I wouldn't really do that to a rotary mower either. That's a case where picking up plugs might make sense, right? But in my case, I don't see the need to go through and rake up like perfectly good organic material and get rid of it and throw it out. And as you guys can see how the lawn looks, it didn't materially hurt anything. The lawn looks great. Again, I've never picked up a single plug in now going on 6 years when dealing with a lawn, but that is specific to my lawn, my soil, and the kind of plugs that come out of my lawn. So it's kind of your call depending on what you're dealing with, what your plugs are like. If you can pick them up and you just kind of break them up in your hand, that's a case where you can run over them with a rotary or just give them time to break down or whatever you want to do. I'm just not a fan of just picking up and throwing out perfectly good organic material. If I can avoid it, so that's my take on it. But there's different people that have different takes. And in honor of Jay's Pompano's wise comment, I've sipped my lemonade in my new Ron Henry chalice. Thank you so much. I'm just going to focus. So now I've got my own branded cup. So that was really cool. So It's not as big as the other cup I had, but it's kind of cool looking. So we'll see how that works. All right. Thanks for messing with me, Jay. You always like to give me a hard time, but I appreciate it. All right, so we have another question here from Alan Cripes. He says, "Hey Ron, you convinced me to top dress and level the lawn. I'm sorry. I want to apologize ahead of time for the pain that you are about to endure, but you can love the way your lawn looks afterwards." He said, "Dang, that really is hard work." Also, I bought a new reel mower. Okay, we got to have the reel mower clap. You were the first one. You win tonight, sir. So bought a new reel mower. Can't wait for the sound to go away so I can mow low. Congratulations. So it is hard work. I will tell you, like every time I top dress, it's one of those situations where, it's almost like when you go on vacation, you're all excited. And when you're driving to the vacation, everyone's excited. But then when you're driving back, the drive back is never as fun as the drive going. That's kind of how top dressing is, but like way worse, right? Like you thinking, oh, it's going to be top dressing. My lawn's going to look awesome. It's going to be smooth. It's going to look like a golf course. And then you actually get into the actual act of doing it. The aeration part is where you realize things are kind of going sideways. And then when all the sand goes down, you're sitting there manually moving it in and you're just doing this for hours. It's you question your life's choices. I mean, there's definitely a reason why the places that do it professionally charge what they charge. And I think that it's worth every penny to pay someone to do it if you don't want to do it yourself. Because it is a ton of work. But Alan, I'm sure you did a great job, and the lawn's going to come back and be really nice once it all grows back in. And as far as a tip for your reel mower, I'm not sure if you mowed with your reel mower prior to top dressing it, but just raise that mower up a little bit. Go up 1/4 of an inch, maybe 1/3 of an inch, just for the first mow to make sure you don't get any sand in the reel and bed knife. That can help a little bit. And depending on how good a job you're doing as far as like wanding the material in and watering it in, within a week or two after you start cutting, you should be able to go back down to the height that you want to maintain the lawn at. So great stuff, sir. Congratulations on top dressing your lawn, and congratulations on the new mower. All right. Kelby Ruiz, he says, "Ron, my guy, thanks for the advice and the help from last week. Happy Friday." Thank you so much, Kelby. You're very, very welcome. Always glad to hear that the advice is useful. All right. So let's see what we got here. We have a question here from Will Dog Hale State. He says, "Good evening, Ron. Picked up some Turfplex today off your site. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir." He says, "Did you just say that you spray it along with applying granular the first of the month? And what's your target end for the month?" Great question. All great questions. Lots to unpack there, but we can do it. All right. So, and I've done this in a video. I've done this actually in 2 videos now, Will. So I gotta wonder if you're watching all the content. But yeah. So on the beginning of the month, right? I do spoon feeding on my lawn. The reason why I do that is because I don't want to hit the lawn with a ton of nitrogen, and have that carry the lawn for several months, because I want to have consistent color and consistent growth, right? So that's how I can get away with like fertilizing so often, because I'm actually putting in a lot less nitrogen. So the way I do it is the beginning of the month, my granular fertilizer goes down, and the liquid fertilizer along with the Miramichi Green Carbon Kit go down as well. 15 days later, the middle of the month, I do another application again of the Turfplex at that same 6 ounce per 1,000 rate. So between the two, right? If you're doing what I do, right? If you're following the stuff I've got outlined in some of the videos, and I'll actually link one of the videos here for you to take a look at, Will Dog. You'll be applying the Humic Max at a rate of 3 pounds per 1,000 square feet. What that's going to equate to is 1/2 pound of nitrogen, or just under 1/2 pound of nitrogen from the granular. And then with the Turfplex, we're spraying that at around 6 ounces per 1,000, which comes out to about 1/10 of a pound of nitrogen. So all in, we're about 7/10 of a pound of nitrogen per month. So I'm well under that pound of nitrogen. A lot of people say that that's the number you need to go to during the growing season. A pound of nitrogen per month. I run well under that, and largely because the reason I can get away with that is because I dole it out as the lawn can use it, right? Versus slamming the lawn with a ton of nitrogen all at once when it really can't take advantage of it. It's just going to cause a lot of growth and cause problems. I do my granular as a base, and then I use liquid to supplement that throughout the month to get, again, consistent growth, nice green color. It for me just tends to work well. The only negative to what I do is it takes more time, right? Because you gotta get there and put fertilizer down twice per month instead of just once per month. So hopefully that helps. I think I got all your questions. So yes, Turfplex. Yep. So you can apply that at the rate I said, 6 ounces per 1,000, beginning of the month, and then 15 days later at the middle of the month. And as far as the video on that, there's a video I've got that's called talks about spoon feeding. I'll give you this one, and there's actually one that I also released yesterday on the topic, but explained in a different way. So I'll also send it to you here in the chat as well, Will Dog. So you are good to go. That is a video. You got it in the chat right now. But that is what I do. Yes. All right, let's see what other questions we have here. All right, so Mazama Blue says, hey Ron, two-part question. All right, last week you spoke about how Carbon Pro G balances the pH, but I could only found references to balancing lower pH up. If I have a more acidic soil sitting at 7.8, can you explain the science behind how it will bring it down? Yeah, so the idea behind it is that it's a pH optimizer, right? So the same, what Carbon Pro G or the biochar in Carbon Pro G is probably more accurate. The biochar that's in it is that it's charged and it wants to maintain a pH around the mid sixes, right? So what you saw in that lab testing from NC State was they took an acidic soil and they applied Carbon Pro G and it drew it up to that mid sixes. That's where you saw the increase. You are right that on that paper, the one that you're talking about, the Let's Go paper, it doesn't show what it does with an alkaline soil, but I did call Miramichi Green. I spoke to a couple of their reps and said, hey, listen, it talks about it raising pH. What happens if you apply this on an alkaline soil? And they said, no, it's the same way. Either they said the only situation where you'd not want to use something like Carbon Pro G, and they hated to tell me this, but said if you're growing something like blueberries, which are other types of berries, which according to what he was telling me that those like a more alkaline type soil. That's like a situation where you wouldn't want to use something like Carbon Pro G because its goal is to pull pH to the mid sixes. So if you're high, it's going to try and draw it down. If you're low, it's going to try and draw it up. Now, in this case of what the NC State study, it was a single application, but again, that was a sandy soil, and it's a test plot. So on your lawn, you may see something similar. You may see it happen sooner. You may see it take longer. But the idea is that it does have some benefits from a standpoint of it trying to bring pH, if you're high, to the mid sixes. That's the goal of the biochar, the way that the biochar that's in Carbon Pro G works. If you use non-charged biochar, because I've gotten this question too about people that have alkaline soil. That if you just use like non-charged biochar, so in other words, biochar that's not optimized that's not optimized for a certain pH, biochar in of itself tends to raise pH. So in a situation like that, if you went out and you just made your own biochar, it might be a situation where you would not want to put that on like a pH of like 7.8 because it could make things worse. But Carbon Pro G is designed again to draw things back to the middle. So that's as scientific as I can get. I mean, if you want more details, I can see if I can get some more details from the guys at Miramichi Green. But I did ask them this specific question, and they told me yes. In both cases, it draws it down. The only case is where if you're trying to grow some kind of crop, and the example he gave me was blueberries, where they prefer a more alkaline soil. That's a case where you would not want to use something like Carbon Pro G. Great question. All right, let's see what else we have here. What other questions we got going on here tonight? All right, Bo Muhammad's in the house. What's going on, Bo? Thanks for coming to hang out. I appreciate it. And then JG says, congrats at Ron Henry on the subscribers. Thank you so much, JG. I really appreciate it. It's been definitely been a long road, but yeah, I mean, onward and upward, right? Just have to keep making content. Hopefully, keep providing value to you guys, and hopefully, you guys keep watching. But yeah, very good stuff. All right. Let's see what else. Let's see what else we got going on here. So we have a question from Anthony Allen. He says, "Hey Ron, I have Bermuda grass and cut at 1.5 to 2 inches in Georgia. Okay, right. In about a day, and I have little spikes that grow. I've used Milorganite and not really sure why it does that. When you say spikes of grass, I'm not sure what you mean, Anthony. Are you talking about little spikes that grow on the grass, or something else? Given your height of cut this time of year, the little spikes on the grass you might be seeing, the little prongs, are probably seed heads. So if they look something like what you see in this video, actually, if you've not watched that as yet, Anthony, because I've gotten a bunch of emails on this, that was the impetus behind this video, is right now, if you're in Georgia, pretty much all the lawns, if you got warm season grass anyway, are getting seed heads, right? It's a stress response from temperature change, and if with you mowing at 1.5 inches to 2 inches, I can almost guarantee that you're definitely having those in your lawn this time of the year. So this video here that I just linked to you in chat, that is going to talk all about that. It's going to show pictures and video of what I'm talking about, so you can look at that and say, "Oh yeah, that's exactly what I got in my lawn." So if that's what you have, don't worry about it. It's in most lawns, it's a problem that only lasts for a few weeks. Once temperatures stabilize, like consistently warmer, they tend to be a lot less prevalent in the lawn, assuming that everything else is going well, right? Like the lawn's getting enough water, that you got decent soil. On my lawn, it tends to be a 2 to 3 week problem, and then it goes away. And again, you can barely see it. Like if you guys see some of the pictures I post on Instagram, there are some seed heads that are just really, really, really like tight to the turf. So what you're seeing is probably completely normal for this time of year, and it's going to go away on its own given some time. If you want to try and help suppress it, some plant growth regulator can help some. It's not going to get rid of it, but that can help reduce seed heads somewhat. All right, let's see what other questions we have here. So Osas Konar has a question about PGR. He says, hey, Ron, what do you think about Anderson's granular plant growth regulator? I am not familiar with it, Osas. I've never used it, so I can't really comment. I mean, Anderson's makes great products, right? Like their fertilizers are really good. Their other products are quality, so I imagine it's probably going to be just fine. I've just never used it myself, so I can't speak to it as far as like effectiveness. But again, if it's they make good products, so I assume that whatever they put their name on is probably going to be just fine. Just follow the rate and should be good. The one thing about granular PGR to keep in mind though is that kind of like granular hydrotane, you are the convenience that you're trading for not having to mix the product and like mount a backpack sprayer and make sure that your walking rate and application is all nice and even. What you're trading for not having to do all that is you are paying more per 1,000 square feet for coverage. So out of a granular PGR, much like granular hydrotane, is a lot more expensive to apply than the liquids, right? So just something to keep in mind. But I'm sure that the product from Anderson's is just fine. All right, so Joanne Lampron is chiming in. He says, hi, I'm hoping to get some rain here in Georgia. We just got some patching done. We watered every day this week. I hear you. So we're supposed to get some rain in Georgia, I think, later on tonight. We got like a little bit of a dusting of water earlier this afternoon, but there's supposed to be some more rain in the forecast this evening. We'll see if it actually happens or not. But yeah, and as far as watering, I'm not sure what kind of what the patches are coming from. But Joanne, what I would say is instead of like watering every day, it's almost better, assuming that the lawn can hold it, like you're not dealing with a big slope or anything crazy. If you can change your watering to once or twice per week, but a lot heavier, that's going to be better for the grass than watering a lot every single day. But just again, it all depends on what you're dealing with. If you got a really heavy slope, you may not be able to do that because the lawn's you can't heavily water a slope. You're just going to be wasting a bunch of water. But yeah, hopefully we get some rain. I know next week we're supposed to as well. So we shall see. We shall see. All right. Let's see what other questions we have here. What other questions we got going on? So Chad has a question here about MSM. I think it's about MSMA. He says, "Hey Ron, do you have any experience with MSMA? I put an app down just 2 weeks ago to kill off my rye overseed, and it's taking a while to recover. Just wondering what to expect." No, I've not ever used that, and I'm not sure if you're talking about if MSM is a different product. But if you're talking about MSMA, I know not really, because it's not labeled for residential lawns. At least I don't believe so. I think if you already have it, you can use what you had, but I don't think you're allowed to technically buy more of it. Assuming we're talking about the same thing, but maybe I'm not. But yeah, what you're dealing with as far as killing off the rye, like your rye overseed that you had over the fall and winter, and then the Bermuda taking a while to bounce back. Yeah, I mean that's kind of a thing, right? It's not kind of, it is a thing. So that's what you're talking about, Chad, is a big part of why I don't. One of the reasons why I don't overseed my lawn with rye in the winter or in the fall, rather. 2 reasons. One, I don't like cold weather, but then second, I don't want to have to spray herbicides on my lawn during the time when the Bermuda is just trying to get its legs. It's trying to come out of dormancy and trying to grow. That's literally one of the worst times to spray herbicide on it, because you're not going to kill the Bermuda. I mean, it's pretty hard to kill Bermuda even when you want to. But it's going to stunt the green up. So you're going to looking at, it could be a couple of weeks longer for the Bermuda to recover. The big thing is that we're getting plenty of heat now. I'm not sure where in the country you are, but I'm assuming you're in Georgia. We're getting plenty of heat now, so it's gonna recover. It is gonna bounce back. It's not gonna be, it's not like you've permanently damaged the grass or anything like that. But that is a trade-off you make, right? If you want green grass all throughout the fall and into the winter, and in the early spring, and then you have to spray out the ryegrass, you are going to set the Bermuda back a little bit because you're spraying herbicide on it. And even though the herbicide is safe for warm season grass, you're still doing it at a time when the grass is more vulnerable, if that makes sense. But no worries. I mean, the grass is going to bounce back, and you're going to be just fine. All right, let's see what other questions we've got here. So Kelby Ruiz says, hey Ron, how do you deal with mowing over areas you spot top dress and bare spots? I feel like if I mow over them, I'm hurting the progress. No, not really. Kelby, really, my rule is as long as the reel and bed knife are not going to get into the sand, I just go right over it, right? You're not gonna hurt anything. Like you going over that, like you think about it, the mower spends half a second on that location. It's not like it's hanging out there for a long period of time. It's not gonna that in itself is not gonna prevent the grass from growing through. It's not gonna cause a problem. Now, if you were like mowing so low that you were scalping or getting into that, yeah, that's something you'd want to avoid. But as far as just like running over it, that's not gonna be a problem. If it really bothers you with a spot top dressing, what you can do is if say you got like a grass here, a patch here, spot top dress patch here, and then grass. As you're mowing, as you get to the patch, you can just pop a little wheelie as you go over it and then just drop the mower back down onto the turf once you get back onto actual grass. That's something you can do too if it really bothers you. But I can tell you on my lawn, I don't do that. Like as long as the spot top dressing is below my cutting height, I just run all over. I mow the entire thing because otherwise it kind of messes with my stripes too, right? You gotta have the stripes looking good. So just something to consider. Yeah, you're not hurting anything. You should be just fine. All right, let's see what other questions we have here. Maurice Anderson has a question about picking up clippings after top dressing. He says, hey Ron, sir, he says, should I pick up the clippings the first time after top dressing or not? No, I don't. I don't pick up clippings on my lawn outside of, I'll tell you, the only times I do that is if I am scalping in the spring. That's when I'll do it. And maybe before the 4th of July, if I'm gonna have company over and I want the lawn to look its absolute best, I don't wanna have any little bit of yellow bits on the lawn, which, I mean, even though the clippings that come off of my grass are really fine, because I mow so often. If I want the lawn to look its absolute best, that's a situation where I might put the grass catcher on and catch those clippings. But as a general rule, I don't catch clippings because it's just free. It's free organic material. I don't want to throw it out. Like fertilizer is expensive. Like my time's expensive. I don't want to have to increase my fertilization requirements because I'm picking up clippings. But yeah, there's absolutely no reason to have to pick them up after top dressing. No reason at all to do that. So yeah, I would not do that. All right. Let's see what else we got going on here. Caleb Phillips was saying, saying hey to Alex, what's going on? And then we're at the top of the hour, guys. We're about an hour into the live stream. If you guys are enjoying it so far, if you guys wouldn't mind while I take a sip of my cold beverage here, touch the like button ever so gently. It's free for you guys to do. Easy way to support the channel, sends good vibes to the algorithm, and hopefully we'll send more people to come hang out with all us crazy lawn people. Would really appreciate it. All right. See what else we got going on here. Felicia, what's going on? Thanks so much for coming to hang out in the live stream. I appreciate it. Always fun to have new viewers. And let's see. We have another question here from Brian Vahen. He says, top dressed 15 yards last weekend and almost died. Yeah, I'm sure you did. 15 yards. Good Lord, man. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. It says, I haven't mowed or put down fert yet because of heat and no rain. Just watering. Can I put down fert this weekend to help the recovery or wait for rain? So if you have a way to water the fertilizer, Brian, I absolutely would put it in. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to not do that. Like if you put down a granular fert, do that. Yeah, I would have done it as part of the top dressing. Like if you look at what I did when I top dressed my lawn, it was aerate, carbon, essential G, it was humic max, it was and then I think I top dressed. Yeah, so it was fertilization was like early in the process of top dressing the lawn. So I tend to do it along with doing that. So yeah, if you haven't put any down yet, absolutely put some down. It is gonna help with recovery. Put down a good granular. I'm not sure what you're using. You can use like a 12 if you want. Like the one that I have in the store here is also really good. That's a decent one. Humic Max is also a good choice. That's what I did on my lawn. If you have a backpack sprayer and you want to spray a liquid, you can do that too. That's fine. But I absolutely would incorporate a fertilizer of some sort as part of the top dressing process. And not strictly necessary, but it does help with recovery. Pretty much all the services that do it, right? Like if you call up Sandman and Richard and his crew come out to come top dress your lawn, like they're pretty much gonna do what I did save the Essential G. Like they're gonna come out, they're gonna aerate your lawn, they're not gonna pick up the plugs. They are going to put down a granular fertilizer of some sort or fertilizer of some sort. I've heard they switch to liquid, but they are gonna put down a fertilizer and they're gonna top dress the lawn because it does help with recovery. But yeah, absolutely. I would get that down this weekend. I would have done it last weekend, but I get it. 15 yards of top dressing mix, you're almost dying. If I tell you, hey, you got to go break out the spreader to go, top dress whatever that was. I guess 15,000 square feet thereabouts. You may not want to do that, but I mean, this weekend absolutely does get some down if you can. It will help the lawn recover faster. All right. So Cars and Exotics and Motorcycles says, hey, Ron, I put out the carbon kit yesterday in Humic Max. What is the average time to start seeing results? So Humic Max, you're going to start seeing that. I always say 7 days, but it's gonna be less than that. In most cases, it's less. Especially now that we're getting heat, you should start seeing a deeper green. The lawn should start responding within a week. As far as the carbon kit, same thing. I mean, if you're spraying the carbon kit along with a liquid fertilizer like Turfplex, you're going to see that in a couple of days. Like the next day, in other words, if you sprayed say tomorrow morning, what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Saturday. By Monday, you'll see a difference in the color in the turf. You will see that. So it just depends on how you're how you're applying it. Again, the big thing with the carbon kit, it's all about the soil, right? So outside of the NutriKelp, there's not a ton of fertilizer in it, and the reason why I spec'd it that way is because I wanted to offer something that you guys could apply regardless of what your current fertilization program is. So if you already have a fertilizer you like, you can still use the carbon kit with no problem. But if I offered something that had like a bunch of nitrogen in it, then you're gonna have to like not do something if you're doing that. But the long short of your answer is the granular within 7 days, probably sooner. And any liquids, it's going to be 2 to 3 days is when you're going to start seeing a result in the lawn. The big thing you're going to see is a color difference. Cars and Exotics. So good question. All right, let's see what else we have here. So the real Canuck has a question. He says, "Hey Ron, starting my adventure into YouTubing. Welcome to the world of craziness and entirely too much work for a ton of work." For views. That's I guess that's the thing, right? It says Chad Shepard is now the real Canuck. Any pointers on starting a channel? Pointers. What pointers can I give you? The best advice I can tell you is focus on the viewer. Like whenever you make content, don't make content for yourself. In other words, make things that you think are interesting, that you enjoy doing, but make content that someone that you're trying to help is going to want to watch. Like there are some like YouTubers that make content in many ways that they do it, and it's because they just want to be in love with the sound of their own voice, right? They make content that's very cool, it's fun to listen to for themselves, but it's not something that most people really care about or respond well to. So whenever you're making content, always think, is what I'm going to put out, is this going to help the viewers? Is this something that's going, even if it's not going to get a ton of views, even if it's not a topic that's somewhat obscure, but hey, this could help answer someone's question, create it anyway, And then as far as from a technology perspective, you're going to figure out what kind of gear works best for you, but I will tell you that audio is at least half of the viewing experience. So, I shot all my content up until August last year on an iPhone. Now I'm not using an iPhone. I'm using like a lot better gear now. But even with an iPhone, I had like a microphone, or I had some way to get decent audio. So focus on good audio and just, work on your storytelling. Your first few videos are not going to be that great, and that's fine, but just keep going. And as far as like growth, just focus on the viewer. Always put the viewer first as far as like the content that you make. And you're going to do well. That's the best advice I can give someone. All right, let's see what we got here. Robert Baker saying, hey, Ron, what's going on, Robert? Thank you so much for coming to hang out in the live stream. I appreciate it. And Jordan is talking about air rating. He says, anyone else yet to aerate? I've talked my whole cul-de-sac into going in on an aerator. See how Jordan is? He's smart. He's like, you know what? I need to aerate my lawn, but I don't want to spend all the money on it. And, we all need to suffer in this. So I'm going to get everybody all in the thing. Very smart, sir. Very smart. I've talked my whole cul-de-sac into going on an aerator rental from Home Depot tomorrow. Going to be a nice little Saturday. Yeah, man, it's good. I mean, now's the time of year to do it. You can do it earlier in the season, but now what's going to happen is the lawn's going to recover really quickly, right? You're going to do it, and then it's going to hulk back up. It's going to come through really, really quickly. One thing I would say, Jordan, And you don't have to necessarily do it the same day because it's not like all the aeration, the holes the plugs that you pull out, the holes are going to fill in like in a week or so. But aerating is a great time. It is a perfect time to also fertilize your lawn. So if you are thinking about putting down a fertilizer, you're doing it tomorrow. So it's the beginning of June. We can start off Memorial Day weekend, right? Start off the summer or the beginning of the summer, not technically summer yet, but the late spring, early summer, right? That's a great time to consider, a granular carbon product. It's a great time to consider definitely a fertilizer. If you're considering like a moisture manager like Hydrotane, that would like the granular version, that would also be a great time to put it down. So it's like you're opening up all these voids in the turf. It's a great time to fast track, nutrients or anything else you're trying to put down into the soil. So good job on convincing your cul-de-sac to go in on aerating their entire lawn. I mean, you're probably not gonna have friends afterwards once they see how much work it is, but hey, at least you guys are kind of like, getting the most out of it as far as, just managing your time and getting the most out of the rental. All right, I got a super chat here. I'm scrolling down here from Wise Guy. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it.
Super chat received.
He says, I really appreciate your time and advice, and I'm sure others do as well. Thank you so much, Wise Guy. I really do appreciate that. Sometimes I got to tell you, man, as a YouTuber, sometimes it's rough, man. You're like out there and you're putting out a piece of content. And you're saying, you know what? I've put all this time into it. I've shot all this B-roll. It's going to be epic. And you post it and like the algorithm's like, nope, not good enough, or not yet. And that's just part of it. That's just part of the product, the thing of it. So I really appreciate you guys watching. That's why you notice anytime you guys respond to a comment, I always thank you guys for watching, because you could be doing anything else. And watching the video is one thing, but then also taking the time to comment. The channel is growing, but I still have the time to be able to respond to as many comments as I can. So I always want to let you guys know that it truly, truly is appreciated. I know you guys could do other things, so I really appreciate it when you guys comment on the videos and ask questions. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that. All right, let's see what else we have here. All right, see, I was here, Daryl. I was going to call you out. I wasn't going to do it. I just said somebody. I said someone at some point put T-Nex down at above the recommended rate. That's all I said. I didn't say who it was. But he says, you bring it up, so we're let everyone know. He says, okay, Ron, let's get it out of the way. I gave you an emergency call Monday morning because I overdosed along with T-Nex. It was 4 ounces in 4 gallons. Oops. Yeah, that's definitely well over rate. Here's the thing, Daryl. That's not the worst I've heard. I've heard of someone that did 10 ounces, not even in like backpack spray, but 10 ounces per 1,000. So I mean, that's crazy heavy. I mean, I can't even calculate like what that is. It's like if it doesn't kill your grass, you're not mowing for like 2 months, right? So what you did is definitely super heavy, definitely well over rate, but your lawn is going to recover fine. It's going to be okay. I don't think you've done any permanent damage to the lawn. So something to keep in mind. But yeah, man, I was going to call you out, but since you did it, you put yourself out there. I gotta let everybody know now. So, but you know what the thing is with that is, Daryl, I bet you'll never do that again, right? You did it once, you're not going to do it again. All right, and then Kevin saying ever so gently hit the like button. I appreciate that, Kevin. And we got some comments going on here back and forth about dethatching. And Robert Baker is, I'm not sure if you asked a question, but you said, it says, Robert Baker says, Ron, Morlorgonite 4 times a year per bag, Bob in Wilmington, North Carolina. You can do that. But here's the thing, right? So I am more of from the book of like spoon feeding your lawn. I don't want to like give the lawn a big hit of fertilizer and have that last for several months. First of all, I personally don't think that four times per year of Milorganite in most lawns is really enough. With Bermuda, it's definitely not enough. But in most cases, I don't really think that's enough. That's enough nutrients, enough juice for sure. What I would probably do, Bob, is you can go at a lighter rate, and you could do it monthly. Every 4 to 6 weeks you could put down Milorganite, but just go at a lighter rate. It's that is what when I was using Milorganite, that is what I was doing. Primarily because Milorganite's kind of a cool product in the sense that in addition to it, having nitrogen and a bit of phosphorus in it, it is the iron, right? So if you want a simple product where the only goal is turn your lawn green, get green grass, right? Milorganite's a great option for that. But it's, I think there are better options. Like Humic Max is definitely a better fertilizer. And per volume, it's actually more expensive to apply than Humic Max, right? So like one bag of Milorganite covers 2,500 square feet. one bag of humic max covers 15,000 square feet. And it also has the leonardite. It has the humic acid in it, which is like, typically some people spray that just by itself. So while Malo is a good product, it's gotten a bit more expensive. And I'm not sure about you guys. I was in Home Depot the other day and they don't even have it. My local Home Depot doesn't even have it anymore. They replaced it with some product called, it's like Eco Scraps or something like that. It's like in a blue bag. It actually has a little label saying, looking for Milorganite? Guess what? We ain't got it. We got this now. So it's Milorganite, the demand has been so big for it that even my local Home Depot doesn't have it anymore. So that's another thing too, right? So I want to make sure that, but whatever I recommend, I want to recommend what I'm actually using, and I'm not using Milo anymore. Like I've got literally 5 or 6 bags in the garage from last year that I just sitting there. So I'll probably end up, giving them to a buddy of mine that's working on building up his lawn. But yeah, I'm just not using Milo anymore because frankly, it's too expensive to actually apply on my lawn. And frankly, Humic Max is better, right? So that's why. But if you want to do spoon feeding, right, you want to do something where you're going to get a more consistent color, every 4 to 6 weeks, you absolutely can do that. Just go lighter on the rate is what I would do. Great question. All right, so let's see what else we have here. So Kevin D. Jones is popping in. He says, hey, Ron, just got my order from the Golf Course Lawn Store. Thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate it. And I'm going to experiment with a multi-purpose plus and hydrotain. I think that's the 14 nitrogen fertilizer from Ecosol. I think that's the one you're talking about. His and hydrotain 2 weeks after. Your thoughts? You're gonna do the multi-purpose plus and the hydrotain 2 weeks after. Multi-purpose has some hydrotain ingredients. Yeah, so it has. I don't believe it actually has hydrotain in it. I think it has the seaweed extract. They call it Sea Extra. I think is what it's called. If I'm thinking about the same product, I think. But yeah, I mean, doing that. Here's the thing: those two are so different that I wouldn't necessarily stagger them. It's almost like when I get questions from people asking about, the granular carbon product like Essential G and their fertilizer. They say, can I put them down at the same time or do I need to stagger it? You can do them at the same time because they're different. They're very different. I mean, they're both granular. That's what they have in common. But as far as like the way they work, they're completely different. And hydrotain and the multi-purpose, if I'm thinking about the right thing, the multi-purpose, if I remember correctly, is a fertilizer. At least I think it is. And if that's the case, then there's no reason to really stagger them. Like the two, you know what I mean? Like the two are they're doing two different jobs, if that makes sense, Kevin. But you can try it. I mean, it's not gonna hurt anything to try it, but I would probably get the hydrotain down a little sooner because the heat's about to come and we want to get it, down and working versus waiting. But great question, great experiment. Let me know how that works out for you. All right. Let's see here. So Felicia Miller has a question. She says, I received the Yard Mastery Prodiamine today. It's supposed to rain the next 7 days here. Do I wait to apply until I can get a dry day? For the Prodiamine, no. We actually want that to be watered in, Felicia. So if you have, granted, if you're going to get like it doesn't really matter. But even, as long as you're not going to get like 6 inches of rain in one day, then you're good to go. The idea with pre-emergent, with Prodiamine in particular, and the Yard Mastery one, is it needs to be watered in. So what I would do is find a time like when it's not raining and get it down. And whenever rain is, and there's rain in the forecast, use that to water it in. And that's gonna, you're gonna get a really good result. The only thing I'd say is if you have a really, really heavy slope, like if there's any parts of your lawn that are very steep where you might have some issues with runoff, you might wait, for a day when there's lighter rain for that. But really, literally what you're talking about is like the perfect storm. That's like the perfect scenario for granular pre-emergent. Literally, you're going to put it down and it needs to get watered in. It needs to get in the soil to work. So why spend money watering it yourself when you can have Mother Nature water it, right? So that's what I would do. I would find a dry time when there's no rain, get it down, and let rain come and water it in, and you'll be good to go. So yeah, that is exactly what I would do. So yeah, let me know if you have any other questions, and I will do my best to help you out. Thank you for being a new viewer and to the content. All right, let's see what else we have here. Anthony says, I also meant to ask, is it a good time to put down a pre-emergent on your lawn? You're a little bit behind the curve now, Anthony. It's better than not doing it at all. If I were going to do a pre-emergent now, I would probably, especially if you have like warm season grass, I would probably go for something with diethiopyr in it, or like also under the name brand Dimension, because like one of the most pesky weeds that we're trying to not deal with in our warm season grass is crabgrass, right? And if the nice thing about diethiopyr or slash Dimension is that it has the ability to kill crabgrass that's already germinated, it's already sprouted, like baby crabgrass. and it's also preventative. So you could still use prodiamine now if you want, but now that we're this late in the season, I would probably opt more towards something that has, again, some dithiopyr in it. If you want a good option that's not going to break the bank, you can go with a granular dimension, or you can use that Spectracide, that product from Spectracide, the Weed Stop. So there's a product that Spectracide puts out that's in a bag, a granular. See if I can pull it up here quickly. Maybe, I'm not sure if the internet will cooperate. So if I can find it here for you, and I can show you exactly the one I'm talking about. But yeah, it comes in a granular, and you want the granular version of it because that is what is going to, yeah, here we go. That is what's going to also have the pre-emergent. So this guy here, Spectracide Weed Stop for lawn. If you go to Home Depot, like every Home Depot is going to have this stuff somewhere easy for you to be able to find. They probably have it out front for you to be able to get it. This has some post-emergent properties, so it's going to kill actively growing weeds. And it also has dithiopyr in it, so it also behaves as a pre-emergent as well. It's not probably as strong as using just straight dithiopyr, but it is going to help prevent new weeds from growing in. So here's the thing: if you decide to go with that product, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that the grass is wet, or the weeds, or just in general the turf is wet. If you're looking to use it to kill actively growing weeds, so if you don't have any weeds in your lawn, and you're not really worried about weeds in your lawn, that's less critical. But if you have actively growing weeds, you're trying to knock those out. In addition to getting some of the pre-emergent benefits, make sure the lawn is wet, apply it, and then let it dry, let it sit on the lawn for a day or so, and then the next day you can water it, and that's also going to help you get some of those pre-emergent benefits. Another thing with that is if you go with that product, you're also not going to want to bag your clippings, all right? So because some of those clippings are going to have some of the herbicide on it, and when they break down and get in the soil, that's going to also help further get that herbicide into the soil. So one thing you're going to want to do is, if you're using it, again, to recap, if you're going to use it as a post-emergent, make sure the grass is wet. Wait a day, and then don't bag your clippings for the first, I don't know, let's say the next week or so after you apply it. All right, so that way you're not really taking that good herbicide you just put down and throwing it out. So that'd be my advice for you. But yeah, you're a little bit behind the curve. But if I had to pick one to go with now, that's the one I would use. All right, great question. Let's see what else we have here. So Matt Alexander says, the Golf Corner Salon store is out of Hydrotane and you're cheaper than Amazon. When will it be back in stock? Are we out of Hydrotane? Are we really? Are you sure? I didn't know that we're out of Hydrotane. I don't think so. I'll have to look and get back with you on that. Yeah, it looks like it is out of stock right now. I'll reach out to a college and find out. Matt Alexander, I'll ask them. I am not sure on that one to know when it's going to be back, but I will tell you what. If you don't mind, send me an email here, ron@golfcourselawn.com. Send me an email there saying, hey, this is Matt from the live stream. And I will as soon as I get an answer for you, I'll shoot you an email saying, yeah, hey, this is when it's going to be back. And, I'll let you know when it's back in stock. So good call on that. Thanks for letting me know. And I will, I'll let you know as soon as I can. But I'm sorry to hear that, because Hydrotane is actually a great product, and this time of year is the time when you really want to be using it. So hopefully, Ecologel will get some more manufactured up here soon, so you guys can take advantage of that. All right, let's see here. Wise Guy says, "What's up, Ron? Your brand is blowing up. Enjoy your content. Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching." And he says, "Could you please touch the like button ever so gently?" Yep, that is true. All right, so I got a bunch of ones here as far as the video on mowing the lawn. So we'll see. I will cut it together. I'm going to probably cut some stuff out of it to shorten it down a little bit, but it's literally going to be just me mowing grass. So, you probably get like 2 views, but you guys want to see it. So we'll see. We'll get it done here. All right. So Kevin Sheehan says, is there any difference other than width of cut between the Greensmaster 1600 and 1000? I don't believe so. I think it's strictly a width of cut thing, Kevin. So there's the 1600, there's the 1000, and there's also the 800. And I believe the big difference between those is just the track, the width of the cut. As a matter of fact, here's a picture of an 800. If I can get it up here for the load. So that's an 800 that Jerry Pate they had in stock for sale. And as you can look, it looks like a baby 1600, right? So it's a fixed head greens mower, but it's just got just a narrower track. So I think the only difference between the 1000 and the 1600 is that it's a little bit narrower. That's the only big difference from what I understand. Great question. All right, we got Princess Cut Lawn Care in the house. What's going on, George? Thanks for coming to hang out, sir. Always cool to have you in the chat and live stream. Always good to see you hanging out. Good to see you're taking a break away from Final Cut to come do something else other than edit content, sir. Always good. All right, let's see what other questions and points we have here. Jay Pompano says, being in New England up here, our wisecracks are a sign of love and respect. All right, well noted, sir, well noted. All right, let's see. Neo from Naples Lawn says, Ron, the man, happy Friday. Thanks for all your advice, man. You're very, very welcome, sir. No problem. Always happy to help out. Thank you for asking the questions. All right, so the next question we have here is from Love. Love says, hey, Ron, my Bermuda is thinning and starting to turn yellow. We just got rain today in a very long time. What do you think is the problem for my Bermuda? It's hard to say exactly. It could be heat stress, probably is heat stress. You know, it's yeah, I mean, it's given that the temps are going up, it probably is heat stress more than anything else, especially if the lawn was green before, right? In other words, the areas that are now yellowing now, if they were green before and they are turning yellow, so meaning we know that we can kind of rule out fungus problems or some other issue, it probably just is heat stress. So what you can do is put some water on the lawn, that could help. And then whenever Hydrotain gets back in stock, you can order Hydrotain and use that on your lawn as well too, because that's definitely going to help with helping the lawn retain moisture. What I would try, Love, is just start watering. I put some water on it and see how it responds to that. I mean, we should, I'm not sure where in the country you are. I'm not sure if you're in Georgia, but we have had a dry spell here. I mean, not a long one. We had a dry spell here for the last 2 weeks, thereabouts. We're supposed to get some rain tonight, maybe, and they're supposed to get some rain next week. So if you can put some water on the lawn, you know, sometime this weekend, and then with the rain that we get next week, later on next week, that should be enough to help the lawn kind of to recover and to bounce back. But it just sounds like a bit of heat stress is what you're dealing with. So time and water will fix that. Good question. All right. Jason says, thanks for the link and the clarification on the turf plugs. You're very welcome, sir. Always happy to help out. And then Mr. Green Thumb has a question about PGR and Turfplex. He says, hey, Ron, do you mix PGR with your Turfplex application? Absolutely, I do. I actually do. So I mix, not only do I mix PGR and Turfplex, I mix PGR, I mix Turfplex, and I mix these guys. I mix Release Zero, and I'm not going to get the other ones off the shelf, but I mix Release Zero, NutriKelp, and the Biospectrum, the three components of the carbon kit, along with it. All three of them mix beautifully together. The big reason why, if you could only pick one of them to mix, granted, I do all three of them because I just like to save time, but if you can only pick one to mix with like your liquid fertilizer or your PGR, it would be Release Zero. This would be the one. Like if you want to buy just one thing off the store, if you don't want the entire carbon kit, although I think there's a ton of value in the entire carbon kit, Release Zero is really good because it really helps with foliar uptake. Like that's the secret sauce, the magic of this particular product, right? So they all mix nicely together. I've tried mixing them, Mr. Green Thumb, at different rates. So I've tried them at the rate that I tell you guys to mix it at, the 6 ounces per 1,000 rate. Really, that's gonna be plenty. You don't need to go heavier than that. But I've also tried it with the Turfplex at heavier rates. And again, out of a flow zone sprayer and out of a Chapin sprayer, it goes out beautifully. So you absolutely can mix Turfplex, the carbon kit, and T-Nex plant growth regulator with no problem whatsoever. I've done that exact thing you're talking about and gotten really good results with it. Yeah, so no issues there whatsoever. And honestly, it's a good thing to do that. It's a good idea to actually mix a bit of Turfplex, a little bit of liquid fert, along with your PGR, or along with T-Nex anyway, because it's going to help take or reduce that yellowing a little bit, right? T-Nex by itself, when you guys first apply it, and it's a good time to kind of talk about PGR a little bit, is the only negative to it is that the first time you apply it, or when you apply it, a couple days afterwards, you're going to see a little bit of yellowing, a little bit of bronzing on the lawn, and that's completely normal. You didn't kill the grass, you didn't do anything bad, and that's going to be for a couple of days. The next time you mow the lawn, so this is an example. Let's say you've applied T-Nex tomorrow, right? By Tuesday, you should see a little bit of yellowing on the lawn. If you mow the lawn like that Wednesday, like 4 days from now or whatever it is, that's going to knock off that little yellow haze. And then what's going to come back is going to be nice and green. It's going to look gorgeous. So just one thing to keep in mind with T-Nex if you're just applying it by itself. If you want to reduce that, using a fertilizer like Turfplex that has a little bit of nitrogen and a little bit of iron in it, that helps reduce that yellowing quite a bit. You know, it really makes it to where it's not even really as not as noticeable. So something to consider if you are wanting to apply T-Nex and you want it to prevent that yellowing as well. It's part of the reason why I do my PGR applications along with my fertilizer applications once per month at the beginning of the month, because that's a way for me to also prevent yellowing too, right? Like if I did T-Nex by itself, then I really wouldn't want to do a separate fertilizer app along with it, because that would mess up like my spoon feeding program. So that's why I just keep it simple. Every 4 weeks, PGR and everything else. So great question. That's a good question, Mr. Green Thumb. All right. Let's see what other questions we've got going on here. We have Joseph Roberts. So Lincoln Project is saying, I killed off my common Bermuda I seeded 2 weeks ago. When should I expect new growth of the lawn? Okay, so you gotta be a little patient, Lincoln. It takes a while, man. So I can tell you, like, I don't know if I have a picture of my planter. I think I've got it on here. I think I took that out. But if you remember the thumbnail for this video, for this live stream, it has my my little desk lawn of Arden 15. That began, what you saw there, I think that was 9 days or so of growth. That was 9 days of germination. But now, mind you, that's it in a desk lawn. That's it in a small planter. Like that whole container, when it gets hot, that holds onto a lot of heat, which helps. And it's also growing inside like a really good mixture of carbonized PN, and it's got some fertilizer in it. So depending on the health of your soil, depending on how good you've been with your watering, that all those things help to determine what kind of germination you're going to get. Arden 15 is one of the faster germinating Bermuda grasses, assuming that you've done everything right, you've been keeping up with your watering, the soil is reasonably healthy, and that you're getting enough sunlight. You should start seeing some germination within a couple of weeks. So yes, if you get down there, start looking at the lawn, get down looking really close, you should start seeing some new sprouts coming through there within 2 weeks. Again, assuming all things else being equal, right? Assuming you did all the other stuff right. The big thing I will tell you, Lincoln, is that you got to keep water on it. So the big thing with overseeding or doing seeding like you did yours from scratch is water is really, really important. So even though Arden 15 can begin growing within 2 weeks, 10 days, 2 weeks, you need to account for and budget for 3 weeks of watering a couple times a day. So you have to think of it from I use the example of, for 3 weeks, like my lawn is going to get like a very light shower on it throughout the day. Not like I'm not drenching the lawn, you're not like turning it into a big muddy mess, but you want to make sure that the lawn never dries out for 3 weeks, and that's going to do a lot to help the Arden 15 grow in really nicely. So hopefully that helps. Fair or not, it's going to grow in. I'm sure it is. Just keep water on it. It's going to grow in, no problem. All right, Joseph says, I shared the seed head video many times this week. Thank you so much for that, man. I really appreciate it. That's the one thing, guys. I mean, that's one thing I don't ask you guys to do enough. If you guys watch a piece of my content and it's useful, I mean, you guys are getting value out of it, but also be sure to share it with a neighbor or friends or anyone else that you think could benefit from it. Definitely share the content as well, too. It's an easy way to help support the channel and helps increase the reach of the video. So I really appreciate that, Joseph. Thank you so much. All right, so Daryl has another point. He says, hey, Ron, I'm keeping a close eye on the lawn. I'll send you photos soon. Congrats on the channel, sir. We appreciate everything you do. Thanks again. I appreciate you guys, and thanks so much for the support. I appreciate that, Daryl. All right, let's see here. So Mr. Green Thumb says, well, Carbon Pro G works as good as Magical Plus to lower my pH. Magical Plus is what was recommended with my test. My pH is 788. So you're getting up there as far as being more alkaline. Yeah, so here, probably the best thing, right, if you're looking purely to attack pH, to bring it down, using something like an elemental sulfate or citric acid, like those two work really, really well to draw pH down in alkaline, so like what you have. Carbon Pro G also works well for that as well, too. If you want to see a video on that, I think Soil Lab, I'm not sure if I have the Soil Lab video. Actually, I do have it. Here it is right here. So I have a video that Soil Lab did on that very subject, Mr. Green Thumb. They actually took some plots. It's actually really cool research. So they have some alkaline soil, some mildly alkaline and very alkaline soil, some mildly acidic and very acidic soil. And they did different treatments to them. Some they applied lime, and then the highly alkaline soil, they applied citric acid and elemental sulfur, and they measured over the course of a month. And over the course of a month, they saw a measurable movement in pH towards that Goldilocks zone, towards that mid-sixes zone. So I'm going to send you that here now. Let me see, Mr. Green Thumb. That's the video the link to that Soil Lab video. that talks about that. Carbon Pro G is definitely a great supplement to do along with that. So in other words, when I put down a bunch of Carbon Pro G was strictly for the goal of lowering or raising pH, I mean, it's gonna definitely help benefit your soil, but I would not use it strictly for that reason. Like that's kind of like a value add that comes along with it, if that makes sense. Like if you're trying to raise the pH of acidic soil, use lime. That's a more efficient way to do that. If you have a highly alkaline soil, use citric acid or elemental sulfur. That's a more efficient way to bring those down, or a more direct way, I should say, to bring those down. If you're also looking for a way to feed your soil and you're applying Carbon Pro G anyways, know that it's also helping to work in concert with those to bring the pH to the mid sixes, to that happy zone. I think it's like 6.4, 6.5 is what it's aiming for. So that's a good point. And then in the Magical as well is also going to help too. All those things all add up to help move the pH to a better position. The big thing you have to realize too, Mr. Green Thumb, is that every soil is different, right? There's some cases where you can apply, an acidic soil, you can apply lime to some certain soils, and then the pH moves relatively quickly. In the course of a couple of months, you see a relatively big change or a noticeable improvement. Same thing for alkaline soils. Some you can apply it to, and it comes down relatively. It moves easily, right? A lot of that is based on how much the soil is resistant. It's called buffering, how much it's resisting to change from the pH that it's currently at. But just know that if you keep applying products to help bring pH down, in your case, over time, it is going to work its way down. Carbon Pro G is also going to help with that, along with the Magical product that you're also mentioning too. But it's not an overnight process. But just something to keep in mind. And actually, just to kind of help you guys track that as well, I'm actually going to be doing some soil testing on my lawn sometime this weekend. I got my soil test kit here. I've been doing it every 3 months. I'm not saying that you guys need to test your soil every 3 months. I mean, unless you just like the research aspect of it. But since I've started doing that, I feel the need to continue it so I can see how the lawn is moving, throughout the season. So the last time I tested was in mid-February, I think. So now we're due for the late spring, early summer test. So I'm going to do that to see if the stuff that I've been doing from the early spring to now, what changes it's made, if any, to the soil, right? And if you guys want, I'll do an update video and share the research with you guys, so you guys can see just how the soil, how the ebbs and flow, how the pH moves around throughout through the season, how nutrient levels also move around throughout the season. So great question, great point, Mr. Green Thumb. Hopefully that helps answer the question, helps point you in the right direction. If not, let me know and I will revisit it. All right, let's see what else we have going on here. So we have a question here from Glitter, Glisten, Gloss, and Floss. It's 2 years ago I wanted to light my lawn on fire because I hated yard work so much. Ron, you so turned me into a lawn care junkie. Thanks for the awesome content and such great info. You're very, very welcome. I'm glad that I lit the disease I've created. I helped create another lawn care nut, because that's the thing I always use. You guys don't realize, like, there's a method to my madness, right? The big thing I always tell people when they're new to getting into lawn care, and I say, you know what? Yes, like a lot of the products that are on the golf course lawn store are excellent products, are absolutely going to help improve your lawn, but get on that mowing frequency. Show me you can mow twice a week. If you can mow twice a week, then I know there's potential here, because the thing is, like, that literally is like the most important part to making the lawn actually look visually really nice, like regular mowing. So if I can get a person to start mowing a lot, then we can start bringing in all the more advanced stuff, and then the lawn's gonna, then you get some really, really cool things. And the thing you find is, if you can get past the sucky part of it, the part where you hate it and then you're mowing a bunch of weeds, the lawn's looking like terrible and you don't know why you're doing it. If you can get past that, if you can push through that, and the lawn starts to green up, you start seeing results, it becomes addicting. Like, you just want to keep mowing it, you want to keep getting it better and better, and it's relaxing, it's good, clean fun. So yeah, I'm glad that you stuck with it and are getting a good result. And just keep going. Your lawn's going to get even better. The more you pay attention to it, the better the lawn is going to do. So just keep working on it. Great stuff. I'm glad that the content was useful. If I can help with anything else, definitely let me know. All right, let's see what other questions we have here. So Felicia says, also the Spectracide came in today, rain for the next 7 days, so I'll have to wait to apply it as well. Still learning. Yes, Felicia, I remember your comment. I think you and I have corresponded. So the granular prodiamine, right? That we do want to apply with rains. We want to get that down before rain and get that watered in. I think you're talking about the liquid Spectracide, right? The one that kills 470 weeds, the one that's the orange bottle. Like that one, like this guy here, let me see if it can bring it up, like this one. If this is the one you're talking about, yeah, this is one we do want to apply when there is dry weather. We don't want to apply that if it's going to rain like an hour later. So ideally, you want to apply it. Hopefully, if you can get 2 days with no rain, that's really good. But at least one day, so you can spray it, allow it to dry on the weeds on the lawn, and then you should be good to go. So for the Prodiamine, the Yard Mastery product, the 007, that with rain, yes, good to go. For the orange label, that's where we want like a small stretch of dry weather to apply that one to get the most benefit out of it. So just want to make sure you're not thinking that you're not using the same application schedule for two different products, because they do work a little bit differently. If you have any questions, definitely reach out to me and I'll do my best to help you out. Good stuff. All right. So Roseberry FH says, "Hey, I'm watching you from the Adams Friendship High School graduation." Thank you so much, sir. I'm glad. Roseberry, or I can't say sir. You might not be a sir, but thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I guess the graduation is kind of boring. You're just waiting for your child or cousin or family member to go across and get the diploma. So you're filling the time. I'm glad that I am a good stopgap while you're waiting for that to happen. All right, let's see here. So Vaughn Stevens, Vaughn, I think you're new to the channel. I don't remember seeing your name before, so welcome. And you have a question. He says, "I haven't been able to grow grass under a very large pine tree. I'm getting the tree removed. What would you address first once the tree is gone?" Okay, great point. So what you've learned is that grass and shade don't mix together. Kind of like send that in my one video, and I got a bunch of not necessarily flag, but a bunch of comments about it. If your grass is warm season grass, Vaughn, and it's Bermuda, it's like mayonnaise and ice cream. Shade and Bermuda do not mix. Like, you can do a lot of things with Bermuda, but shade will not grow in that. So good job on getting the tree removed. So the tree's gone. What I would probably do is work on leveling that area a bit, because depending on how good a job they did when they removed the tree, hopefully they also ground down the stump and they got as much as the root structure out of there as much as they could. Even if they did that, it's probably not going to be as even with the rest of the lawn. So what I would do to start is probably, let's just do a spot top dress. So to do that, you're going to use a bit of masonry sand or river sand, and you're going to mix with that some screen compost material. So a great option, depending on how big an area we're talking about for your compost, for your organic component, is carbonized PN. If you have like a Site One nearby you, or you can go to Miramichi Green's website. I don't carry carbonized PN in the store, but Miramichi Green is also running a sale as well. So if you want to order carbonized PN, you can find it on their store for 10% discount too right now. That's really, really rich. And that mixed with some masonry sand, and you top dress that area to kind of level it and kind of get that nice and smooth with the rest of the lawn so it's even, is going to be a good starting point for whatever we decide we're going to put in there. So assuming your lawn is Bermuda, there's a couple ways we can go about this. You can, if you want the fast way, the way that most people are going to tell you is to put sod down, and that's going to be the fastest way to get grass there once you've leveled that area, right? The challenge with that, and you have to worry about, is that the sod might not match the existing grass, even if it's the same grass type. Like even if you have, like, say your lawn is, say, Tifway 419 Bermuda, even if you get Tifway 419 Bermuda sod, there's nothing that says that they're going to match exactly. Then you might see some slight color differences. So depending on how patient you are, once you've got that area leveled out a little bit, what you can do is you can buy something that's called like the Pro Plugger. You're gonna get this. It's like a tube that will pull like big plugs of grass out of the soda can, like a Coke can size chunk of grass and soil with it out. And I would probably transplant those into the location where that tree used to be. That's going to take a little while to grow in. When we get with plenty of heat, the Bermuda is going to take off and begin spreading. But that is like the most guaranteed way to know that once the grass grows in there, it's absolutely going to match everything else that's going on. Anything else you do is going to be a bit of a gamble. So it just depends on how patient you are, how long you're going to be, how good you are with being okay with that area being a little bit bare for a while. Plugging is what I would recommend, but if you just want to sod it, you can do that too. But to prep it, absolutely do a slight spot top dressing to kind of fix that area. And what I would use is either like a 70-30 mix or a 50-50 mix of a high quality compost material, or if you're, again, something like carbonized PN and masonry sand. That is what I would do. Hopefully that helps answer your question. If not, definitely hit me in the comments below and I will follow up with you. All right, let's see what else we have here. Mazama Blue says, thanks for answering my Carbon G question. My site one doesn't stock it, so I'm looking at Essential G from your site right now. All right. And then your question, he says, but I'm hesitant because I thought coffee grounds were not so great for turf. Can you speak about how they process the coffee grounds? I've never really heard that coffee grounds weren't good for turf, Mazama Blue. I can dig into it. I can ask them how they process them, but I mean, I can tell you that what's in Essential G definitely works really well on turf because I've been putting, I have probably, I mean, I can't say this for sure, but among residential lawns in the country, I've probably put more of this stuff down on my lawn than probably anyone else. I mean, Carbon Pro G, I can't necessarily say that because some of you guys are crazy and are probably contributing to the Carbon Pro G shortage, but Essential G, I feel pretty confident saying that I've probably put down more Essential G on my lawn than most people, and my lawn looks absolutely fabulous. So I can dig into that a little bit and ask and find out exactly how they process the grounds, but without even talking to them, I'm sure it's not in a way or in any means that's going to cause damage to the turf or cause damage to the turf grass because it is designed to go on grass, you know. So yeah, no, I would not worry about that in the least. Again, I've been putting tons of it on my lawn, and you can see how it looks. Great question. Okay, so see what else we have here. We have a question from D-Dom where he says, do you have any suggestions on liquid aeration products? I've researched and can't find answers. I've used an aerator 2 weeks ago and it feels exactly the same as it did before now. Okay, so liquid aeration products. So it depends on what you're looking for by that. I mean, there's the products from, oh man, it's the ones that Green, I'm drawing a blank. Alan sells them. It's called Aerate. I know that's a product that a lot of people really like. Green County, that's it. Green County Fertilizer. I don't know why I can't drew a blank there. That's a product that a lot of people like and seem to get good results with. Also, the carbon kit, the Carbon Pro G, the Release Zero, as well as the NutriKelp also have can also behave as liquid aeration products as well. They also help break up thatch and help with aeration as well. But what you're saying here is that you said you used an aerator 2 weeks ago and it feels exactly the same. So, but nothing really beats as far as like breaking up compaction. Not much really is going to beat like hollow tine aeration. So, if you got like an actual hollow tine aerator, like you rented one from Home Depot, and you did a good job of it, meaning that you made sure the lawn was somewhat moist, and you were able to pull out like some reasonably good sized plugs, like, you know, I don't know, like 2 to 3 inch plugs, like good sized plugs out of the lawn, that should have helped reduce compaction quite a bit. Like the lawn should have also, when you're walking on it, when you're done, it should have almost felt a little softer, almost a little bit more, let's say, I don't want to say squishy, but just, you can tell it had some more give to it than before. If that's not the case, we might just hit it again. We may just aerate it again because, you know, I've never aerated a lawn where it did not feel softer afterwards. So if you didn't do enough passes or you didn't go heavy enough on the aeration, I mean, you're not going to damage the lawn by aerating it heavily. You can beat the lawn up really, really hard. It's going to be just fine, especially now with the heat we're getting. The lawn is going to bounce back really, really quickly. So I would say, you know, if you decide to go with a carbon kit, the Release Zero, NutriKelp, and the BioSpectrum, those are great liquid aeration products as well. And they also work really well along with what you have already done, which is hollow tine aeration. The only other product that I can think of that comes to mind is Aerate from Green County. That's another one you can consider too. I've never personally used that one, but there are people that have used it and had great results with it. So there you go. If you want the carbon kit from Miramichi Green, that's a great option. It's actually on sale as of like midnight tonight, from midnight till Monday at midnight. That it's going to be on sale, so you can save some money that way. But then there's also other options as well too. But I would revisit that. I would revisit what you did with that aerator, because a hollow tine aerator like a Ryan or a Billy Goat should have definitely helped reduce compaction some. And if you want to see what I'm talking about as far as the carbon kit DDOM, it's this guy here. When you go to golfcourselawn.store, this guy here, the carbon kit, these are the 3 products that I put together all in one product and one kit that will help reduce compaction that has that liquid aeration properties that we're talking about. And again, it's going to be on sale starting tonight at midnight. Great question. Let's see what else we have here. We've got a point from Rohan Mystery 24. It says, "Hey Ron, the lawn is looking great. I have a few bare spots where a tree used to be. Plug the area. I've heard PGR pushes lateral growth. Should I apply that to speed things up? I plugged last year." So I would do PGR, Rohan, if the area has already grown in. So if you've got like a big bare spot, PGR is not going, I mean, yes, it does promote more lateral growth, but what you want for a bare spot is both. You want both lateral growth and you want horizontal growth and you want lateral growth. In other words, you want like fresh grass to punch through that bare spot and you want the existing grass from around it to spread too. So, I mean, putting down PGR is not gonna hurt anything, but it is going to, if there's any grass that's trying to come through, it is going to slow any vertical growth of that grass. So I wouldn't necessarily use it as a means or a way to fill in bare spots. It's more a means to reduce mowing frequency, to get deeper color, to do a little bit around seed head suppression. But as far as to fill in bare areas, not so much. You know what I mean? It's not, again, it's gonna slow the process down, if anything. Okay. Great question, but yeah, I mean, I've got a couple of spots that still have a little bit of sand on my lawn, and I've been putting PGR on them, but they're still growing in just fine. But I mean, I don't want to tell you, yeah, go apply PGR because it's going to speed up the ability of bare spots to fill in, because that's really you're taking away one of the means that you have for filling in bare spots if you were to do that. Okay, great question. Let's see what else we have. David West has a question here. He says, "Happy Friday, Ron. Bring on the rain. Tell me about it," right? He says, "Can you recommend a company where I could obtain some top dressing mix? I live in Cumming, etc. Also, when is the best time to top dress? Thanks." Okay, so now's a great time to do it. If you want to top dress, the temps are where they are, where your lawn's going to bounce back quickly. As far as places to get top dressing mix, Landscape Plus in Gainesville, Georgia, they carry it. They can get you either straight masonry sand, and they can also get you a sand soil mix. There are other people that have gotten mixes from other places around too, but as far as top dressing mix that I've used, that's worked well. If you are looking for something really nice, like a very nice high-end top dressing mix, it's gonna be a little more expensive now, is the leveling mix from Supersod. Like, that's what I used to top dress the lawn this past time, and I was really happy with the results from it. Main thing is that every top dressing mix I've used before, right, prior to the Supersod mix, has had stuff in it. Has had like either a lot of peanut shells or sticks or small stones, or just in general just trash in there as well that I have to go through and get out. The stuff from Supersod is very clean. So really, it's their quartz USGA sand, which is a very good sand. It's going to wear really well, and their humic, their compost, which consists of three things. It's like zoysia grass clippings, I think it's wheat straw, and then they also add some mycorrhiza. They also add that as well to it too. So it's a very rich organic material that is mixed with a very clean and high quality sand. So it just depends on what you're going for. You've got like Landscape Plus, they can get you like your generic river sand and compost, or if you want something a little bit nicer, you can go with the Supersod. That's, again, a little bit more expensive, but it's going to, again, it's really good stuff. It's really good stuff. I really like it. If you have the budget to spring for it, that is what I would go with. And if you're gonna get that, I have a code here that you can use for that. Let's see, at David West, there. So ronhenry.com/top dressing, and there you go. Got a couple options from inexpensive to more expensive. Great question. Great time to top dress your lawn. All right, let's see what else we have as far as questions. Wise Guy says, "Congrats on your 20,000 plus subscribers. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it. I have no questions, but I enjoy watching your YouTube tutorials and Friday night evening YouTube discussions." Thanks so much, Wise Guy. Much appreciated, sir. So we have a super chat here from Travis Winston. I'm not sure if I got yours already, Travis, but if not, we're going to do it again.
Super chat.
He says, "Good evening, Ron and Golf Course Lawn Squad." He says, "I am late to the show. I had to mow. That's a good reason to be late." He says, "Put down Carbon Pro G and a little fertilizer. We finally are about to get some rain here in Virginia." That's perfect. So you got everything done. You got your mowing, you got your Carbon Pro G down, and now you got water to water it in for free. So you can't really beat that, right? All great stuff. Thank you so much, Travis, for coming to hang out in the live stream. I always appreciate it. Rohan has a follow-up question. He says, "Ron, what can I spray in my flower bed to get rid of weeds, and what can I spray to keep them from coming back?" Okay, so for flower beds, there's a product called Preen. I think it's called Preen. I think it's Preen. You can find it at Home Depot. It comes in like a yellow bag. That tends to work fairly well as a pre-emergent type product for mulch beds or for flower beds. You can use prodiamine as well too, but the problem with like liquid prodiamine is that if you have mulch in there, it's going to, because the mulch, all that stuff is pretty absorbent. The amount of actual pre-emergent that's getting to the soil is going to be a lot less. So I would go with something like Preen. That seems to work pretty well. People seem to like that. And as far as weeds, the Spectracide can work well too. This product can work well, but you really want to be careful. You really want to be careful. Like this guy here, I can bring it up here, like the liquid. This one can work well, but I want to be very, very careful about, read the label and make sure that whatever plants you have in your flower bed, any ornamentals that you don't want to get this stuff on it. It's safe for grass, but you definitely don't want to get this stuff on, like roses or anything like that, or anything else that you want to keep nice. So just something to keep in mind as far as spraying it. That might be a case to not use the hose end sprayer. You may want to actually get that in a concentrate. It comes in a concentrate bottle. That might be a situation where you want to use that and mix up some of that like in a little pump sprayer, so you can be very, very precise about where you put the herbicide, and you minimize getting it on the plants that you actually want to keep. So between Preen and that Spectracide, you should be in pretty good shape. All right, let's see what other questions we have. Tom Durkin says, anyone know what the SiteOne discount is if you sign up as a business? I don't know that there's generally a discount. I think you get to buy certain things at contractor pricing, Tom. But there are some things where they have that are what they call, I think it's called MAP pricing, where like the manufacturer actually sets the price for it. Like I know for certain herbicides, like a good one is like Negate, right? Like Negate, like they set the price for that. I think it's like $55 a bottle. So regardless of where you buy it, like that's the price that you have, that SiteOne has to sell it at, and that anywhere else that you buy it online, if they're following the manufacturer's guidelines, they have to sell it at that price. So not everything you're going to get a big discount on. There are certain things where the manufacturer actually specifies you will sell it at this price, and that's it. And it doesn't matter if you have a an account with them or not. So something to keep in mind. Chris Balducci's in the live stream. He says, what's going on? He says, good evening, Ron and Lawn Fanatics. What's going on? Chris Balducci. Always nice to see you in the live stream. And then Trevor Davis says, hey, I live in your neighborhood. Cool. It's a small world, man. I'm sure I've seen this year a definite increase in people top dressing lawns. Like there's at least 5 or 6 people that I can think of that come to mind that know me and know of Alex. And then also this season are top dressing their lawns as well too. So, I don't necessarily that we started it, but I mean, there's probably something to this whole top dressing thing that's going on in the neighborhood that I live in. So yeah, welcome neighbor, and I'm glad that you're watching the content. I appreciate the support. Always nice. Shonda has a question here, and she's talking about Dallas grass in Bermuda. So that's a tough one. She says, hey, Ron, I have a few patches of Dallas grass in my Bermuda. What can I do to get rid of it? So the best way, Shonda, is to dig it up. Like the way to get rid of Dallas grass and really, really get rid of it to where it won't come back is to like physically get rid of it. There are some things you can do as far as taking like glyphosate, like Roundup, and putting that on a paintbrush and wiping it on the Dallas grass, or taking it and spot putting it, like actually very carefully, very deliberately putting it on the Dallas grass itself. Some people use a paintbrush. Some people use a sponge. Make sure if you do that, make sure you wear like proper PPE, wear like proper gloves to protect your skin. But the surefire way to get rid of it is to dig it out, to get rid of it. Anything else is really just going to be kind of a stopgap. If you put Roundup on it, that's going to knock it back, but next year it's going to grow back again. So if you want to get rid of it, really it's just to weed it, dig it out, and physically get rid of it. That's the way to get rid of Dallas grass. I had a buddy of mine that works in, like, all he does is spray lawns for a living. He works in the chemical space, and with him, he says, if I come up to a lawn and they have like they have tons of Dallas grass, I won't even take them on as a customer in a lot of times, because unless they're willing to dig out all the Dallas grass, because there's not much I can really do to permanently get rid of it. There's a product called it's Tribute Total. It's a herbicide. It's like 3-in-1. I think it's Revolver, Celsius, and Monument. I think it's 3 herbicides all in one, and that does help to knock back Dallas grass and suppress it a bit. But it's incredibly expensive. It's very, very expensive. Like on the order of like $350 for a small little container of it expensive. So it's just not really doesn't make sense for a homeowner to buy that. But that's one product that can work against Dallas grass. But even that doesn't get rid of it permanently. So I would get out there and dig it up, Shauna. That's the best advice I can give you. Let's see what are the comments we have here. Jamar is chiming in. He says, Hey Ron, thanks for all your knowledge. I'm going to be leveling my lawn soon and I have to sprinkle a few sprinkler repairs I need to perform. Is it too much strain on the grass to make repairs and then level? No, not at all. Not at all. Especially if you have Bermuda. Here's the thing. Like after I actually did my sprinkler repair like the wrong way around. I actually did it after I top dressed the lawn last year. And what you're going to find is wherever, if you have someone that, if you know how to do it, great. But if you have someone that knows what they're doing, come out to do the repairs, they're going to get out there and they're going to create like a little, they're going to cut like a circle all around where the sprinkler head is, pull that big chunk of grass out and set it down, do whatever repair they need to do, replace the sprinkler head, do whatever they have to do, and then put the dirt back in and set it back in there. And within 10 days, 2 weeks, you're not going to know anything ever happened. What you can also do as well is when they put it back, put that the plug back in, that grass plug, do a little bit of top dressing around that, a little bit of sand soil mix, and just apply that around there to kind of help fill in the little gaps. And that's going to help accelerate how quickly it bounces back. But no, you can do it in any order you want, Jamar. I'm assuming you're dealing with Bermuda. If it's Bermuda, there's no issue whatsoever. You can do it in any order. I would probably do it prior to, just so you don't have to worry about digging up your lawn after you just finish top dressing it, right? And as far as a means to prevent damage to the sprinklers is get some Frisbees and cover the sprinkler heads whenever you're top dressing. In the video that I did on top dressing, the most latest one, kind of a tip that I threw in there for you guys. If you watch the entire video, you'll see I make mention of that. I'll actually put that in the chat here for you. Let's see, at Jamar. Yeah, so in this video, if you actually watch that video, it's only 13 minutes and it covers like everything I know about top dressing all in 13 minutes. It's a really short video, relatively speaking, for top dressing. In there, I show you like how to mark sprinkler heads and then how to put Frisbees on them to cover them up. So whenever you're top dressing, you don't get a bunch of sand and grit down inside in the heads, which was going to cause them to gum up and stick and cause problems. So something you absolutely want to do if you're going to be top dressing your lawn here soon. Great question. To see what other questions we've got here. So Peg Junk has a question that says, so if I'm late on my Bermuda revive, what should I focus on during the 90+ degree days? You're not late. I don't worry, you're late. You're not late at all. I mean, as far as right now, the biggest thing is make sure you're just mowing a lot, Peg Junk. And you're not too far behind. Like, I mean, around this time of the year, last year, is when we actually started the Fix My Ugly Lawn series on Alex's lawn. So if you want to see how much you can transform a Bermuda lawn in the course of a season, like go check that series out. You're nowhere near behind the 8 ball as far as not being able to get a good result on your lawn. The big thing I'd say is make sure you can get a lot of mowing in. So if you can mow twice a week, especially during 90-degree temps, that's going to do a lot for helping the lawn do well. And then just follow the process. If you've not seen that series, I've got it here. I'll put it in the chat here for you. Watch this series because what it does is it covers literally everything that we did on Alex's lawn to really help it bounce back quickly. I mean, to help transform it over the course of about 3 months. That video there, that link is going to take you to the playlist. Watch that and do what's in that as far as like taking care of the herbicides. First taking care of weeds with herbicides, doing your soil testing, applying granular carbon amendments, granular fertilizer. Like follow that series, and it's going to help you get your lawn to a much better place. If you have any questions, definitely reach out to me as well. But that you still got plenty of time this season to transform your lawn. Do not worry about it. All right, Drums Only says, is it a bad idea to do a full renovation in the summer? No, not at all. I mean, that's when we did Alex's lawn. We did it now, which is, I guess, technically late spring and into the summer. Not at all. I mean, if you're dealing with warm season grass like Bermuda, it's the perfect time because it's going to grow in really quickly. The only thing I'd say is if you have irrigation, that's a good thing to have because it's going to help. It's going to help save time with like watering in certain granular products. It's going to help. It's just going to save time as far as having to get out there and like drag sprinkler heads around. But I mean, outside of having irrigation, which is not strictly necessary, the summer is a great time to do it. You know, the grass is growing aggressively and it's going to recover really quickly from any kind of work you do to it. So yeah, there's no problem with doing a renovation during the summer. Okay, Stephanie Collins is in the house and she says, what if ants? What do you do with ants? I'm not sure what your question is, Stephanie. But for ants, if you're dealing with fire ants in particular, there's a couple of products that I've used in the past. So there is a product from Orthene or Ortho that it's like this white powder. It smells really bad when you open it up, and that stuff you can spray on ant mounds. Like that works pretty well for targeting mounds. If you want a broadcast product, so something you can apply across like a bunch of different across your entire lawn, there's a product called Advion Fire Ant Bait. I don't have a link to it here, not easily anyway, but look up Advion Fire Ant Bait. That's something that I apply on my lawn at the beginning of the spring. I did it in April. I just go over, it's got little granules, and it comes in a bottle where you can literally walk around the lawn and just kind of just like pulse the bottle and the granules will fly out. That does a really, really good job of killing ants in your lawn and suppressing, like having preventing problems with fire ants. That's what I use. There's also another insecticide. Bifurin is another option that's also available in a granular. There's tons of different options for getting rid of ants in your lawn. What I have personally used is that Advion Fire Ant Bait. I've had really good results with that. And I like it because it doesn't require like a spreader. Literally, it's all in this one little bottle that you can literally just, all you need is the bottle to do it, right? That is what I'd recommend. I'll see if I can find a link to it here for you at some point in the chat. I don't have it up here right now, but just go to Do My Own or go to Amazon and look for Advion Fire Ant Bait. That's what it's called. Great question. Okay, let's see what else we have. Jamar said, I mowed my lawn every 2 days, trusting the process, but with a real mower, the lawn has to be level. You can't train dirt. LOL, you scalp. So here's the thing, Jamar. If you're scalping, raise it up a little bit. You don't need to be mowing. If you're getting into the dirt, then you're mowing too low at this point. You do not, your lawn does not need to be level to real mow it. I mean, if you're trying to real mow it low, yes, it does help for it to be smooth, for that to work well. But you can real mow your lawn at 1 inch. You can real mow it at 3/4 of an inch. Most lawns can be real mowed at 3/4 of an inch without too much issue, without too much heartburn. So it just depends on what you're on what you're dealing with on your particular grass. But I mean, I would not keep using it. I would not keep mowing so low that you're causing it to scalp. If you were to, if that's the case, I would raise the height of cut up. Most definitely. All right. Stephanie Collins, I did find a link to Advion. So let me go here. I'm at Stephanie. There you go. That's where you can grab Advion Fire Ant Bait. And I've also got a video on my channel as well. If you want to see how to apply it, like how to spray it, not spray it, but how to use it. If you go to like YouTube.com, Ron Henry, and search for like fire ants, Ron Henry fire ants or Ron Henry ants. I've got a couple of videos on that product, and it'll show you how to use it. And there's a link there to the exact product that I'm talking about. Okay, Wise Guy has a question. He's a question about I can't even pronounce this. Imidacloprid. He says, I applied it 5 weeks ago. If so, wet or dry? Thanks. I'm actually not familiar with what that is, Wise Guy. So I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one. I'll have to dig into that and get an answer for you. I'm not familiar with what that product is. So you got me, man. You stumped me. Okay, so let's see next other questions we got here. We got Left Tool in the house. What's going on, Left Tool? Always nice to see you coming in to hang out. He says, I'm still out mowing, almost done and trying to catch up. Good to see you, Ron. Hello, everyone, and have a great weekend. So the Left Tool, those are the guys you have to actually thank for the little grass plots that I'm growing. And I guess you guys are I think you're in Arkansas, if memory serves me. So yeah, I mean, I guess it's good that you're out there getting that mowing before the sun goes down. It frees you up to have more family time over the weekend. All right. We have Josh Habib in the house. We got a super chat from him. Thank you so much, sir.
Super chat received.
He says, happy Friday, pal. Big congrats on 20K. Well deserved. Thank you so much, Josh. And again, thank you so much again for the killer 1600 Real Mower shirt. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for that. And let's see what other questions we got. So Brian has a question around sod. I think he says, hey, hello, sir. Question, can you use Yard Mastery Double Dark and Ironite together? Or would this be too much iron applied in one application? I have a Bermuda lawn, pretty new sod, 3 months established. Thanks in advance. You want to use Ironite and Double Dark. So here's the thing. I believe all of the Yard Mastery fertilizers, they all have Bionite, which is like I guess it's like Florida Milorganite, right? In it. And the Double Dark, I think, also has some iron in it. So I don't think you really need it, Brian. I mean, you could do the Ironite with it, but I mean, I think it's, the double dark, but look at the name, double dark, it in and of itself is enough to get a really, really good result. What I would do is I would apply just the double dark, give it seven days or so, give it a week and see how it looks. And if that's not dark enough for you, then you could go with a light ironite application. What I would not do is I would not apply the double dark at full rate and then come again and do like the ironite at full rate too. Because what happens with iron, there is a thing as too much. I mean, you're not necessarily going to kill your grass, but the lawn will actually go from to like normal green, like how it looks now, to super, super dark, and it will almost turn like purplish or dark in color, right? So too much iron will make the lawn like not actually look that great. It's not going to kill it, but you definitely don't want to go too heavy on the iron. So start with a double dark, give it a week, see how it looks. If you like how it's looking, great. If you want to go a little bit more, add a little bit of ironite along with it, a little bit. I mean, I would not go full rate, and that definitely should be enough to get you where you want to be as far as color goes in the lawn. Tyler Smith has a question. He says, "Hey Ron, I know Bermuda is your favorite grass type. I mean, maybe I might be a little bit biased." He says, "But have you ever thought about experimenting with Zoysia?" Actually, I have, and yes, I am. But there's a lot in common between the two, but it would be nice to see content for us Zoysia guys. So I am doing that. I actually am doing that, Tyler. So it's not going to be on a large scale, but I do have a Zoysia plot and a Bermuda plot and a ryegrass plot. I'm trying to see if I can find the video that I just put up here that where I can actually show you. But what I'm doing is I'm growing it in little planters. Okay, so I got a few little pots. And I put the ryegrass into each one of those, and this is what I'm doing. So you can take a look here. So you got like Compadre Zoysia in one, you got Arden 15 in one, and then the Lawn Tools ryegrass, that's what it's going to be affectionately called because I don't know what kind of rye it is. That's going to be in a pot. So what you're going to see, if you guys want, is going to be some content over the course of the season as that begins to grow in. I'll probably do some showing like how quickly they germinate, the warm season grasses. And you're going to see some content on that. I'm not going to install Zoysia in my lawn, but if you want to see some Zoysia content, you'll see some on that scale. And I also have a neighbor that just recently top dressed his Zoysia lawn, so maybe I'll see if he's willing to let me film some content on it as well too. He just top dressed it, so maybe that could be something cool as well too for you guys to look at. Okay, so Rawling Johnson has a question about a mower. He says, close to pulling the trigger on a GM Flex 2100, what should I expect to pay for a grind/sharpen? Should I expect to pay more than I pay to sharpen my True Cut? Yeah, you probably will pay a bit more. I'd say probably somewhere in the range of $200, Rawlings, $200 to $250, depending on what it needs. That's probably a good estimate as far as what it's going to take to get one freshened up. If you have to put a bed knife on it, that's going to raise the price a little bit too. So short answer is it depends. All right, it depends what the mower needs. If all the mower needs is a grind, it's not going to be It's not going to be too bad. It's going to be somewhere in that $200 range thereabouts. If it needs a bed knife, then it's going to be a little bit more money as well. But here's the thing: if you take it to a place like if you're in the Atlanta area, I'd recommend taking it to Jerry Pate. Call up Joey; those guys will take care of you. They do a really good job on Toro mowers. That's what they do. And while they have it, have them go through it and check other things. Maybe have them do a service on it, check if there's any belts that need to be freshened up, just to have them go through it so your mower is good to go once you get it back. Because the belts on those mowers are a wear item. They do need to be replaced periodically. So it's just something else to consider. And yeah, you probably will pay a bit more for it than you will your True Cut. Like my True Cut normally costs $120, $130 to get it sharpened, thereabouts. And the Greensmaster is more in that $200, $250 range. So just something to keep in mind. It's a more expensive mower. So there you go. Michael Nickel has a question. He says, can you put too much humic acid and liquid kelp? Yeah, I mean, yes, technically, yeah. Most people have a hard time doing it. But you can apply too much of anything, right? But it just depends on how heavy we're talking, Michael. In most cases, you're saying if the label says apply the humic acid and liquid kelp at 6 ounces per thousand, and you apply it at 8 ounces per thousand or 9 ounces per thousand, it's not going to hurt anything. You're just going to be effectively you're just kind of wasting the product because only so much of it can actually be used or get into the turf and be used at one time. So I would just follow the rate. I would follow the label. Putting down more than the recommended label is just really going to be wasting it. That's why for like the carbon kit, like Release Zero and the NutriKelp product, the rates that I give on that seem fairly low, but because you're going to be applying it several times, every month, I want to make sure that you apply enough that you see a result, but not so much that you're basically, I don't say you're throwing away product, but you get to the point of diminishing returns, right? And the only thing you're really hurting at that point is your pocketbook. So to answer your question in a nutshell, most people are not going to be able to apply so much humic acid and liquid kelp that they damage their lawns. I've never actually heard of anyone doing that. But yeah, I would just stick to the rate because like more is not necessarily going to be, a whole lot better. Okay, Josh Habib and LG having a question about the shirt. He says, I dig that shirt that you made for at Ron Henry. How do I get one that says 1000? Because I guess LG has a Greensmaster, a GM 1000. All right, so next up here we have a question from Chris Rickhart. He says, I have acidic soil, lots of trees, and moss. Any advice, LOL? So Chris was like, I got it all, man. Help me out here. Okay, so you have acidic soil, lots of trees, and moss. So acidic soil and moss go together. Trees, which create shade, and moss go together, and then poor drainage and moss go together. So if you can eliminate the shade, which it could be difficult to do but you can do rather by trimming the canopy of the tree, like raising the canopy up a little bit so you get more sunlight in the area. That's going to help some. As far as the acidic soil, if we can get some lime, like a good lime application down, depending on what you said you have acidic soil, so I'm assuming you did a soil test result to know that. If your soil does not need magnesium, then just look for a calcitic lime and apply that. That's going to help raise the pH, but that's also going to you're going to create conditions that are more difficult for moss to thrive and do well. If you have low magnesium, then put a dolomitic lime down. But at any rate, you want to put down a lime of some sort to bring the pH up, right? So what we're doing then is we're creating conditions that are better for grass, but worse for moss, all right? So those would be the two things I would say. Do all you can to eliminate shade, if you can, Chris. So that's going to mean trimming those trees back, and then also raise the pH by applying lime. You didn't say anything about drainage issues, but if there's any drainage problems where water settles, let's work on that as well too, because those are the kind of scenarios, the conditions that moss likes. So if you do those things, reduce the shade, add lime, that should help with the moss problem. Once you've done those things, that's when you can use a product, something like Moss X or Moss EX, however you want to pronounce it. That's when I would do that. I would not apply that product until you actually take care of the actual conditions that are creating the problems. All right, that's my thing. And guys, I think I can actually hear. I think there's actually rain outside in Georgia. We have a go for rain, so we're good to go. Yay! I'm happy. It's good times. All right. Next up here we have JG. She says, at Ron Henry, veggies did great when I top dressed with Essential G. Headed to farm to be planted this weekend. Thanks for the carbon Kool-Aid. Works great for lawns and other plants. It's great. That's awesome, JG. I'm glad to hear that. It's again, Essential G is a great product. It's again I know I had the question earlier around the coffee grounds in it. But again, the product is designed for lawn. It's designed for vegetable gardens. It's designed to be anything that grows in grass or grows in grass. Anything that grows in soil is designed to enhance, right? So I'm glad that you're getting great result with it and that your veggies are doing well. Thank you so much for letting me know. I'm glad. I know the LG was getting some of that to test out, so I'm glad you got a good result. Thanks for the feedback. I appreciate it. All right, and there you go. LG says send me an email, and he will give you my contact info. So there you go, LG. You already have my contact email address, but just shoot me an email, and I will link you and Josh up so you can get you a custom shirt. Okay, DDOM, 1 of 2. We have a longer question here. I was like, this is like question 1 of 2. It was only part of the question, Ron. He says, thanks, Ron. I made multiple passes on the lawn with the hollow tine aerator. It wasn't fun. It's not supposed to be. That's you probably did it right if it wasn't fun. He says, I'd say my plugs were 1 inches to 2 inches on average. I water the lawn the evening before pretty heavy. And then the second point, he says, 2 of 2. I was definitely looking at the Carbon Pro kit, but I am researching an electric backpack sprayer as I only have a 1-gallon manual pump sprayer. Okay, that's a good idea. So yeah, and that is a good idea, DDOM. I would recommend using like a proper backpack sprayer with the carbon kit. Either the Flow Zone, which they're kind of hard to come by now because they're always sold out. Everyone, their grandmother's buying them, or the Chapin. those will all work well. And if you decide on going with the Chapin or the Flow Zone, I have calibration data for both those sprayers, so that's going to help you with, it'll make the job a little bit easier as far as knowing what kind of walking pace you need for applying the carbon kit. So hopefully that helps. But yeah, no worries at all. And I still might try it again. I mean, if you are game, I would probably get that aerator out there again and hit it hard again. You can't, you said you made passes in multiple directions, but that should be enough to really reduce some compaction in the lawn. It shouldn't be hard as a rock anymore after all that work. Okay, Papa Mo's Low is up. He says, I guess he said, stress blend, your carbon package, Turfplex, and a sprinkle of Milo has my yard popping. Now the seed heads are gone. Thank you for all the advice along the way. You're very, very welcome, sir. Thank you so much for watching the content. And it sounds like you have quite the package there. Stress Blend's a great product. The carbon kit, obviously, you guys know I love that. And Turfplex and a little bit of Milo. You can't, Milo just won't go away, man. Milo's like it's like the foundation. You never forget your first love, right? So if Milo's still working for you and your lawn, you can still get it, and your lawn is small enough to where it still makes financial sense, and keep doing it, man. Keep using it. Absolutely. All right, we got a super chat here from Rohan Mystery. I appreciate it, Rohan.
Super chat received.
He says, I appreciate you, sir. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. Thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciate it. All right, next up we have Ruben Harris. He says, hey, Ron, I'm planning to put down 4 pounds per thousand of N this year. Okay, the year. Okay. I was about to say, you say per month this year. Half in the spring, half in the fall, cool season. Is 4 pounds of N per year still a reasonable target to improve the quality of my lawn? Yeah, so it depends on your grass type. Ruben, 4 to 5 pounds is what Bermuda calls for. I don't know that cool season really requires that much nitrogen. You might be going a little bit heavy, but yes, to answer your question, yes, that is more than enough to get a good result. So the question now is, how are you going to deliver the 4 pounds, right? What I would challenge you to do is not necessarily do all that in a granular. I would try and do a combination of a granular and liquid program so that you're getting the best of both worlds. Use a granular as your base, your foundation. Again, you know what I like? I like Humic Max. It's a great product, great fertilizer. And then if you're game and you have the time to do it, spray some nitrogen as well to kind of bring the levels up to kind of meet, fill in the rest of the nitrogen requirements in your lawn for the rest of the season when you're applying it. That's what I would do. Because by doling it out in small amounts, that is going to reduce how fast the grass grows, and is also going to produce better, more consistent color. So the only negative is the time it takes, right? It takes more time, but it definitely, that if you want some good advice on how to improve the quality of your lawn, that is what I would say, just in the space of around fertilization. Great question. Thank you so much for the 6 super chat we got here from Saxman J. Will. Thank you so much, sir.
Super chat received.
He says, enjoying the show. God bless. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much for the support. All right. So Martin Mueller has a question here. He says, hi, Ron. Greetings from Iowa. I learned by accident after my goof replacement that the 40-inch nail finder magnet works great as a striping tool. Okay. I didn't know that. We learned something new. Thanks so much, Martin. Thanks for sharing the tip. The tip. That's pretty cool. I guess a nail, the magnet just is so strong that it actually draws the grass down or actually lays the grass down. That'd be interesting to see. You should make a video of that. That'd be a cool video to see. Some cool content to watch. I'd watch it. You should definitely video that. Cedric's in the house, Mr. Celebration, right? Cedric, I think you went to Celebration in your lawn, so I'm still waiting to see more of that content showing off the new Celebration lawn. But Cedric's another YouTuber that I think he just went to Celebration, got a new house, and he has the Bermuda that I am very envious of. So congratulations on that, sir. Thanks for coming to hang out in the live stream. Cedric says, no questions tonight, mad scientist, just here soaking up all the knowledge. However, my neighbor said my lawn looks like a golf course, and it looks like I use a vacuum cleaner on it, stripe action. That's the goal, man. I mean, that's the best compliment, right? That is what I am marketing and trying to get people to create, right? Is the golf course lawn experience, right? I mean, for better, for worse, that is what I am. I'm trying to help people to create. So if you're getting that kind of feedback from your neighbors, that's pretty awesome. It's funny. A buddy of mine, fun story. A buddy of mine that is a business owner in this area. He plays a lot of golf. I used to play golf with him, but he continued playing, whereas I stopped. Right? He came over yesterday. and was looking at the turf, and he's like saying, "Dude, he says, man, your lawn literally is better than the fairways that I hit off of, right?" So he plays a lot of golf in the Gainesville area. So there's a couple of courses that he used he's frequent at. And he says that the turf is looking really, really good. And again, to be fair, like the challenge of a golf course is a lot harder than what I have on my lawn, right? Like I'm not always hitting divots out of my lawn, and it's just like 12,000 square feet to take care of versus an entire course. So it looks really good, but it should look really good, right? Because it's only me, and it's only, I'm just always like, looking at it. So makes sense. But I'm glad you're getting good compliments, Cedric. That definitely shows the program works and that you're putting in the hard work, man. It's pretty awesome. Thank you so much for letting me know. All righty. Hey, let's see what else we have here. Josh has a question around rule of thumb for top dressing mix. He says, "What's the rule of thumb for top dressing for amount? 1 cubic yard per 1,000 square feet." Was also curious about the spread, how much the spread and dingo cost you guys for Alex's lawn. So all in for, I can't tell you what everything costs all in, but I can tell you the dingo, oh God, what is it? The top dressing machine and the aerator, like all of that was around, I want to say $800 somewhere around. It wasn't cheap, around $800 thereabouts. And then we did go with 1 yard of material per 1,000 square feet. Like that's a good number, what you came up with. And while $800 doesn't sound like a lot of money for renting that equipment, keep this in mind, guys. Like between Alex's lawn and my lawn, on that weekend, that day, those 2 days, we top dressed 17,000 square feet. So if you call up a service and ask them to top dress 17,000 square feet, it's going to be a whole lot more than $800 equipment rental plus the sand. So I'd say all in. I mean, if I were, I can't really give a number, but if I were going all in, I'd say it's, I don't know, probably $1,500 somewhere thereabouts. I'm spitballing here, but I can tell you that the equipment rental costs around $800, and then the sand and leveling mix and everything else in addition to that. But it's still way cheaper than paying someone to do it. It's cheaper for your wallet, but not so much for like the pain aspect, because it's way easier to sit back with a nice lemonade like this and watch someone else do all the work, as you will find out when you get into it. Hopefully that helps, Josh. Let me know if I can help with anything else. Pet Junk says, "Cool, I thought I was lagging." No, you weren't. It just takes me a while to get down to each question as I go through there. And you said, "I can do it." Thanks. You can do it, man. Just again, just take your time. Follow that series I showed you, and just step through that. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email. Here's my email address. It's ron@golfcourselawn.com. Send me an email there with any questions you have, and I'll do my best to answer them. I mean, definitely watch the content first, because I want to make, something's answered in a video. I'll also answer your question in email, but I'll be like, hey, but I also have a video here that actually explains that in detail, right? So watch videos, and if the content doesn't answer the question, then shoot me an email. I'll definitely do my best to help you out. Okay, so Chris Burkett has a question here about Zoysia, the other warm season grass. He had 5,000 square feet of Zenith Zoysia installed in January, February in North Carolina. The grass looks awesome. Should I give it a full year before I take it on top dress? No, absolutely not. No, not at all. You can top dress it. You can top dress it now if you want. There are people literally that will put down sod and will top dress like the day after the sod goes down. So here's the thing, Chris, I would not go crazy heavy on the top dress. I wouldn't don't bury the grass in sand, because 2 reasons. One, because I just don't recommend doing that, because you're going to have more issues with runoff. And also because Zoysia grows slower than Bermuda, you're also going to make the recovery take longer. But yeah, no worries at all, man. If you put it in January, February, it's already greening up, looking nice. You're absolutely good to go to top dress this season. No problems whatsoever at all on that. The only things when it comes to new sod that I'm a little bit leery of for certain grass types is like when it comes to like pre-emergent, you want to be a little bit careful around that. You want to kind of give the grass some time, 6 months. If you can wait an entire year, that's good. And then also spraying herbicides in the lawn. Also something, pre-emergent technically is a herbicide, but like post-emergent herbicides, right? You also want to give the grass some time to get established before you put those on the lawn. But as far as like top dressing, especially if you're doing it the way that I show in my video, the one that's going to have the thumbnail says Ultimate Guide. If you see how I did it, which is relatively light, you're good to go. You can do it this weekend if you so desire. Yeah, I would absolutely do it this weekend or whenever you have time this summer. I would not wait a year to do it. Great question. Gary has a question about fungicide and green pop. I think green pop is a liquid for it. I'm not familiar with that one. Is can I mix fungicide with green pop? Here's the thing. I don't know if the fungicide you're applying is I don't know if you're applying it in liquid form, I guess, right? So you're doing like azoxystrobin in liquid form. The only way to really know that is to do a jar test, Gary. So what a jar test is you're going to get a jar like this, one that does not have humic max in it, like an empty one, and you're going to put some water in here, and you're going to apply some of the fungicide, and you're going to apply some of the green pop. So you're going to apply the water, a little bit of fungicide, a little bit of the green pop. I think it's a fertilizer, right? And you're going to you're going to agitate it and then let it sit for a little while and make sure nothing weird happens. Like you don't get like clumping or like it settles out really, really, really quickly or it just looks like there's some kind of weird reaction. Like that is the surefire way to know if two things or two products will mix nicely together. Without knowing which fungicide, and because I've never actually used green pop, I can't tell you for sure. The one thing I might say though, if green pop, if the label for green pop says to water it in, then I might not do it along with a fungicide unless you're trying to go for a foliar app, depending on the disease you're trying to take care of. So the long short of the answer is it depends. There's so many factors to be able to answer your question. I would do a jar test, and I would really even if it passes the jar test, I would really only do a fungicide and a liquid fert if the liquid fert is not designed to be watered in, which most of them are not, and the fungicide if the fungus you're trying to treat it requires like a foliar application. In other words, it's not designed to be watered in after the fact. So there's a lot of factors that go into answering that question. So I'm sorry I don't have a better answer for you, but at least hopefully I'll give you some things to think about as far as to come up with the best possible solution. Okay. Christian has a question here around irrigation. He says, "Hey Ron, thanks for everything. You're very welcome, sir. Thanks for hanging out in the live stream. I want to know what you do recommend for heat drought. I don't have irrigation, just manual sprinklers. Thanks." So what I do recommend is Hydrotane. Apparently that's sold out right now. You can probably get it on. It looks like you can still get it on Amazon. I will find out from Ecologel when they intend to have it back in stock. But search around if you can get some Hydrotane. That will help with reducing watering requirements. If you have a smaller lawn, the liquid version of it's going to go further. If you have a bigger lawn or you just want to easy, then go with the granular. But outside of Hydrotane, like watering is going to be important. Another thing you can do too, Chris, is if you can pick up your mowing frequency to where you can get the turf to grow in nice and dense and tight. Like that's going to also help shield the soil from getting beat on directly from the sunlight. So actually, believe it or not, mowing your grass tight, keeping it nice and tight and short, that also helps with the soil retaining moisture. So Hydrotane if you can get your hands on some. Make sure you're mowing to where you can mow the lawn. If you have like a warm season grass like Bermuda, a little bit shorter to promote it tightening up. And then outside of that, you are going to have to water some. Bermuda requires an inch of water per week, thereabouts. So if you're not getting rain, you are going to have to drag the sprinklers out and water the lawn to help it to keep it nice throughout the season. Okay, let's see what other questions we've got. Lance says, thank you for all your lawn knowledge. You're very, very welcome, Lance. Thank you for watching. And Trin Dave has taken on a major Arden 15 project. He says, lawn nuked, reseeding on Wednesday. Nice. We'll send pictures as the Arden grows in. Definitely let me see, sir. I want to see that. I want to see how it grows in with just a fresh lawn or fresh lawn with nothing on it, but just dirt and Arden 15 seed. It should be really, really epic. Definitely let me know how that works. So Wise Guy says, "Oh, it's for grubs. I probably spelled it wrong." Okay, yeah, no worries, man. Can you get a grub treatment down now? Yeah, you absolutely can. I mean, I would do it. If I thought Wise Guy, I thought we already applied a Celoprin on your lawn. If you already put down a Celoprin, then you shouldn't need to do anything else for grubs for the rest of the season. If you've not done that, if I'm thinking about somebody else, then you can absolutely put something down for grubs now. I mean yes, get that done sooner than later. But if you've already applied a Celoprin to your lawn, which I thought you did, then there should be no need to apply anything else for the rest of the season. Great question. Okay, SMK's in the house, man. I always like to see SMK. He says, "Hey, what up, Ron?" He says, "I gave up on mowing at 1/2 inch. My lawn looks like crap, too much heat and no water." I get it. Yep. I don't have irrigation, and the drought is cooking my lawn at that height. Wow, I hear you there, SMK. If you can get your hands on some hydrotane, you can try that and see if that will help a bit. I don't know. I'm at half an inch and just under half an inch, and my lawn's doing pretty well. But yeah, I get it. I get it. If you're doing that and you're getting the lawn's not, if the lawn is not happy there, then I wouldn't do it. I mean, remember my lawn. I guess one thing I can also say too is my lawn has been at that height since January-ish, thereabouts, around half an inch since January. That's when I scalped it. I scalped it at that height, and I maintained it for whatever it is now, 6 months. It's been at that height, so the grass is probably acclimated to that being at that height. Versus in your case, you took it down, and that's a stressor in of itself, and then we combine it with heat. I could see how the lawn is not too happy, but I don't know, man. I wouldn't give up so quickly. I mean, I might try it for another couple of weeks here and see how if the lawn will acclimate and do better. I mean, it's up to you, but I we're still early enough in the season that I think maybe a few more weeks of it, and the lawn you might be pleasantly surprised at how the lawn does. All right. Jay Pompano has a question here. He says, have you read that article on POA Cure? Only available to golf courses right now, I hear. Wish I could get my hands on some to try someday. No, I haven't, Jay. I've not seen that. I'll have to look into it. I'll have to put a note here to myself. Look up POA Cure later. All right, so I'll do some research on that. No, but yeah, if there's a way to get rid of POA in warm season lawns, well, actually no, because you're up in Connecticut, so this is probably something different. I'm not sure if that's also for warm and cool season, but yeah, getting rid of POA would be nice because that's the warm season plague in the Southeast, unfortunately. We got the lawn sensei in the house. What's going on, sir? Thanks for coming to hang out in the live stream. Another lawn care YouTuber. Thanks for coming hang out. I always appreciate the support. We got Stan G in the house, and let's see what other questions we have. Let's see. Brett Bromstrom he says, what seems like the most promising development in irrigation? Subsurface, smart sprinklers, one head per zone. I'm not sure. I think probably the most promising development is I think it's some of the new irrigation controllers that have the ability to run the irrigation system based around weather patterns. I think that's pretty cool. That's a cool way to save on water. So versus like what I'm doing with mine, like kind of the old school way of like, twice a week for this time per zone. I think some of the smart controllers have a lot of merit. I also think some of the technologies that actually are reducing the need for you to even have to water your grass as much. Stuff like hydrotane and other moisture managers also have some merit as well too. But as far as subsurface irrigation and like smart sprinklers, I haven't done too much as far as looking much research into like different irrigation heads and that different configurations. I don't know that much about irrigation at that level. But the big thing that I've seen that seems to be really cool and people seem to get a lot of value out of are the smart controllers. But outside of that, I really can't speak too much towards that. Okay, Aaron Steensma says, great material, thanks for sharing. Thank you for watching. Wouldn't be here to share. Wouldn't be anything wanted to share anything with you guys weren't here watching with me. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Okay, other questions we have here is from Ribido. He says, hey Ron, keep it up. My Tiff Tuff is getting a bit stressed during this week of hot days in Central Florida. I'm doing half an inch of water twice a week. Should I up it to 3 times a week or 5 minutes sprinkle as needed? I would stick with what you're doing. The half inch of water per week, a half inch of water twice per week is probably adequate. Plus, in being in Florida, you guys get a lot of rainfall. So, I mean, or it tends to rain pretty much, I won't say almost every day, but it rains a lot in Florida. So between the rain that you guys get in Florida and what you're doing with irrigation, that should be enough. And here's the thing, guys. Keep in mind that like the lawns, whereas the lawns, especially if you have like a warm season grass like Bermuda, the lawn was transitioning earlier this year in the spring out of being dormant to being green. This is another transition we're going into now as well. Like the lawn was seeing cooler temperatures and now the heat's starting to pick up. So that's where we're starting to see seed heads and, if your soil and just overall don't have any moisture managers in your soil or things to kind of help the lawn respond to that. A little bit of yellowing temporarily is completely normal. It's completely natural. There's nothing like, don't freak out and think, oh, my lawn is it's dead now or it's going to be bad. Because of that, it's completely normal. As temps stabilize, your lawn it should return. It should green back up. It should do well. Like in this case, Rubidoux, I really wouldn't change what you're doing. I think half an inch of water twice a week, especially in Florida where you guys tend to get a lot of rain, is probably gonna be more than enough. You're seeing some stress right now. That's gonna be temporary, and the lawn should bounce back and and continue to be just fine. Keep up with your mowing. Be sure to do that. But I think the lawn's going to respond just fine over time once temperatures stabilize a little bit better. Okay, Rawlings is always with the hypothetical questions. He says, if a neighbor stole your lawn, would you press charges or would you say, sweet, now I can get celebration Bermuda? I don't know. I guess if they stole my lawn when I press charges, I guess there's not really a way for me to get the lawn back. I guess if I could like get rid of all my grass and either grow in all Arden 15 or all Celebration, that would be cool. But I'd probably be really irritated. Not so much they took the grass, because all the work that goes into leveling it and getting the soil where it needs to be and having the grass look the way it is, that's a lot of work. It's even more important than the actual grass type is all the work that's gone into getting the lawn to where it is now. That I'd be really irritated about. Regardless of grass type, I'd be still pretty upset about that. So how's that for an answer? Celebration or Arden 15 is probably what I would go with. Okay, SMK is saying I found a place in Georgia that rents out the Ryan Lawn Air 28 and also a Toro Procore. Oh, nice. There on Steve Reynolds Boulevard. Okay, vertical tines, 2.5 inch to 4 inch cores. This is gonna be a game changer for DIYers. Nice, yeah, that is nice. The Toro the Procore is a really nice unit. The thing I found with that one is the few places that I found that will rent those, they actually make you buy your own tines. So like they don't rent the unit with tines. Like you have to, like you can rent the unit, but they also have a separate charge for tines. You tell them, hey, what length tines you want, and they there's like a separate thing for that. I guess I don't know. I mean, maybe because people break them or people have different requirements or whatever it is, or it's mainly I guess golf courses or professional turf that rent these things. So that was something that was kind of a bit off-putting, but as far as being able to really get like a seriously deep core aerating, the Procore is baller. Like that's what Richard, that's what the guys at Sandman Top Dressing use. They use a Procore, and it's a very big difference compared to like a walk behind aerator. It's a serious bit of kit. So it's cool. Good. Thanks for letting us know that, SMK. Cool stuff. Soul Sketch talks about Essential G. Says Essential G went down before the Texas rains. Flagship and Double Tark 2. My wife was not ready for the smell of that Essential G. Neighbors ask about my grass, but they say it's too much effort. LOL. Yeah, so that is true. So Essential G does have the smell of success. It does have a little bit of a scent to it. Once it's watered, though, it tends to go away. Kind of like with Milo. Like when Milo first gets watered in initially, it smells a little bit, but then like watering actually helps knock it down. So, that is something that I know that Miramichi Green, that's something that they don't necessarily like as much about it, but it's it's just all part of it. I mean, I wouldn't trade it. The product works great. So, and as you're saying, Soul Sketch, your neighbors are taking note of the lawn, so you're doing something right. And I think your wife will get used to it over time. She'll get used to just warn her, say, sweetie, it's time. It's that time of the month. The Essential G is going down. We're gonna have a little bit of a smell for a day or two, but then we're gonna be just fine, and the lawn's gonna look great. So just warn her next time. Just don't spring it on her without some warning. Should be good to go. David Polanco's in the house. He says, "Hey Ron, thanks to be here. Thank you so much, David. Thanks for coming to hang out. Always nice to see you in the live stream." And we see Matt G has a question around liquid aeration. He says, "Do you know whether it's safe to apply liquid aeration and liquid hydrotain at the same time?" I know that as far as applying them on the same day, yeah, that's absolutely fine. As far as mixing them together and applying them, that I do not know. I've never actually even applied liquid hydrotain, and I've certainly never mixed it with anything else to know if that would affect how it works. So I'm going to say I don't know on that one. What I will do, Matt, is I will ask Ecologel that, and I will get an answer for you. So mixing hydrotain with other products. I'll just say other products, because you're saying liquid. You're sure like liquid aeration, but it could be anything else. The one thing I would say, Matt G, without even knowing the answer, is liquid aeration is a good example because that doesn't need to be watered in. But you want to make sure that whatever you're mixing with it is something that also needs to be watered in, like an aeration product. So I'll ask them. I'll give them a shout and find out what they recommend, and I will get an answer for you. Great question. Never been asked that one before. Okay, Travis Brooks is up next. He has a question about St. Augustine in Orlando, Florida. He says, "Hey Ron, Orlando, Florida, St. Augustine, Zoysia, and Zoysia." He says, "I need to core aerate. I typically do in June here, but the grass is really drought stressed. Do I delay aerating or aerate and put down extra water and nutrients?" It's kind of your call, man. I mean, you know how your lawn works and how it responds better than anyone else. If it were me, I would still aerate it. I would, mainly because like aeration, in addition to, yes, it does stress the lawn some because you are like knocking holes in it, you're pulling cores out, this kind of thing. But what it also does is it also makes any water or any other products you apply down that help with to help improve the nutrient levels in the soil. It helps to improve that. So if you water the lawn after aerating, like more water is going to get into the soil. If you put down nutrients, like those more nutrients are going to get into the soil. So there's benefits to aerating the lawn outside of just reducing compaction. So if it were me, I would still do it because I don't think that I don't think the stress of the little bit of stress that aerating adds to the turf is so much that it would make me not want to take advantage of the benefits that it provides, if that makes sense. Great question. So Austin is up next. He has a question about a Bermuda sod that was installed. He says, "Hey Ron, the Bermuda sod I had installed was primarily Tifway. However, some patches I noticed were common Bermuda. Any suggestions on what I can do to fix this?" Not really. I mean, if it's just installed, like if you notice if it just went in, if you can rip it out, if you can pull it out, that's what you could do and have whoever installed it, uh, have them come replace the common Bermuda with Tifway. That would probably be the best thing because once the common roots in really well and gets established, you're going to have a difficult time getting rid of it. I wouldn't say spray anything on it or anything like that. I mean, I would literally, if it's a couple of patches, like literally a couple of sod blocks were common when they should have been Tifway, and you're sure that's the case, you're absolutely sure that it's definitely common, I would call whoever installed it and have them replace it with Tifway. That's probably what I would do. I would not try and get rid of the common because once if you give it enough time and that Bermuda roots and it grows in, it's going to look different. It's not a whole lot else you can do other than just to replace it. That's what I would do. Okay, and then Papa Mo's Low says, "I spread hydrotane granular the other day. Oh my God, that stuff smells like success." I don't know, guys. Maybe it's just me because at least the stuff that I have, the QD, the stuff that I got from that hydrotane makes for Lesco, I didn't notice a lot of smell or odor to that one. So maybe the other types. So there's different types of hydrotane. There's the QD and there's QD. There's OC. There might be another one, but those are at least two different types of the granular. So depending on which one you guys have, that's probably the one that has the odor to it. But hey, it's going to go away. Just water it in, and I'm sure the scent will go away. No biggie, right? And Wise Guy said, yes, okay, I did apply a Celoprin. Yes, if you applied a Celoprin, you are good to go. You've applied the Cadillac of granular insecticides. You don't need to worry about putting anything else down on your lawn throughout the rest of the growing season. You're good to go, Wise Guy. No need to put anything else down. That will take care of grubs along with a bunch of other things in your lawn. Great stuff. So thanks for clearing that up. Okay, Phi Dip has a question around soil testing. He probably have to send me his results so I can actually look at it. He says, "My soil test for Bermuda indicated 2.5 parts per million of phosphorus, and the MLSN indicates that I should be at 21 parts per million. Do you know how many pounds of P I should apply per 1K this year to reach this target?" What I'm going to ask you for, Phi Dip, is your soil test results. If you don't mind, send me your a copy of the results. To here, ron@golfcourse.lawn, to say, hey, this is Phi Dip from the live stream. If you don't mind, send me the entire thing, take a good picture of it, and send me an email, and I'll take a look at it, and I will get you an answer. Thank you so much, sir. It's a great question. It's good. Glad to hear that you're soil testing and that you're paying attention to what's going on in your lawn. Great stuff. The one thing we do know, even while you're waiting for me to look at the soil test results and while you're sending them to me, you know that you need phosphorus. And here's the thing. I mean, depending on your soil type and how well it responds to it, it's not like you can even say I don't know, like throwing out a number, say 3 pounds per thousand or whatever as a number. I'm not saying that's what you need to apply, but it's using an example, like how your particular soil responds to that amount could be different from how other soils respond to that amount. So what I would take that data as a means to do is say, hey, my soil is phosphorus deficient. I would choose a fertilizer kind of like Lesco makes an 18-24-12 that has a lot of that has a lot of good phosphorus component in it. I would apply something like that. And then in the fall, I would just test again and see if your applications of that throughout this season have moved the phosphorus levels in the right direction. You know what I mean? It's not so simple to be able to say apply exactly this amount and you will get this result, because there's more factors than that that weigh into you moving your phosphorus levels to the Goldilocks zone. But if you don't mind, send me a copy of the soil test results, ron@golfcourselawn.com. Great question, Fidip. Thank you for asking. Okay. And Justin is it's a great timing, Justin. I really appreciate that. So while I take a sip of my lemonade here, if you guys are enjoying the live stream, we're a couple hours in here. If you guys wouldn't mind touching that like button ever so gently, it's free for you guys. It's completely free. It's a great way to support the channel. Sends good vibes to the YouTube algorithm, and will call more people in to join us in our fun. While I take a sip of my lemonade here. Great stuff. Okay. David West says, thank you, sir. I appreciate the feedback on top dressing. Wow, super sod really is pretty expensive. It is expensive. He says, I probably need 7 cubic yards. Enjoy the long whatever. And I really appreciate all the info and content. You're very welcome, sir. Yeah, you know what? It is more expensive, but I will tell you, like, everything you're paying for with super sod is good stuff, right? Like the one thing I will say, that if you compare to other leveling mixes, and something to consider is some of the fillers that other top dressing mixes you get will be, again, they have a lot more trash in them, like sticks. There's some top dressing mixes where they use a lot of peanut shells as fillers, which again, that's organic material technically, right? But like what is in the leveling mix, what's in the soil cubed compost that Superside uses in their leveling mix, like all that stuff is going to break down relatively quickly, or it's going to get down into the soil quickly and not make a big mess in your lawn. So the stuff is super clean, and like you're not really getting fillers that are like trash, if that makes sense, right? So it is more expensive, but literally you do get what you pay for. I will say that it is a very, very quality top dressing mix. I was very, very impressed with it, because this year I've got to see a couple of different ones. I've got to see top dressing mixes from a couple of other places, and the one thing that's overwhelming that I'm seeing, and a lot of those have a lot of peanut shells and that kind of thing inside the mixes, which I wasn't thrilled about. Okay, Jeremy White saying, let's go, big bro, just checking in. Let's go, Bulldogs. All right, man. Good job, Jeremy. I appreciate the support of the Georgia Bulldogs. Great stuff, sir. Really, really good. Okay, S. Bender has a question here about grub prevention. He says, I'm going to be putting down a second app of Headway G for large patch. Do I still need Caravan G for grub prevention? No, S. Bender, I wouldn't do that. So if you're doing Headway G as your, because you're dealing with a fungus problem in the lawn, what I would do is, instead of putting down Caravan G, let's use a Celiprin instead. So Caravan G is really a great option. Say you don't have any fungus issues in your lawn all year, right? And you're just saying, hey, it's late May, early June. I want to get down a fungicide, and I also want to get down an insecticide to keep the grubs out of my lawn, and also to help, if there's any fungus potentially trying to develop, I'm going to try and like head that off before it becomes a problem. Caravan G, excellent product for that. But if you're looking for like best in class fungicide and then best in class insecticide, that does not exist in one product. Like Caravan G is not that. So to get that, you would want to do what you're doing, which is Headway G, because that contains like the propiconazole and azoxystrobin, so 2 great fungicides that are going to attack that large patch and knock it out. And then we would use a Celiprin, which is a very, very, very good insecticide, and the active ingredient of this, it's chlorantraniliprole. Still have nightmares about that word. It's a really, really good insecticide because it will target grubs. It'll target bill bugs, bluegrass weevils, even though you don't have bluegrass. And what's also important about it is also what it doesn't target. So it doesn't kill earthworms. It doesn't damage like pollinators, like bees and that kind of thing. So a Celiprin is what I would do. Since you already got the Headway, I would go with a Celiprin. And if you're looking for a link for that, if you don't already have it, doesn't sound like you do, you can get it here, S. Bender. So let me see, at S. Bender, and there. That's a Celiprin. That's what I would do. You're doing Headway. I would combine that with a Celiprin. I would not do Caravan G. Because essentially you just be doing another azoxystrobin application if you do Caravan G again, which you really don't need at this point, right? You already got Headway. Great question. Okay, SMK is saying, yeah, Ron, I tried 5/8 and it seemed happier at that height. And been dragging sprinklers. That helps a bit, but no substitute for rain. I think a core aerate and top dress with a good 70-30 mix. That will help. You see, there's I think that's a good plan. SMK, and let's be honest, let's be real, right? 5/8 is not like a night and day difference from like half an inch. I mean, it is a little bit taller, but it's not like Crimea River here. I mean, you're not telling me you have to go from like half an inch to an inch. It's a little bit taller, a little bit taller. 5/8 is fine. I mean, and just work on it. Maybe you'll see. Maybe throughout the season, as the lawn stabilizes, maybe you're able to work back down to that half inch and get that tighter cut that you're looking for. But I mean, 5/8 is still a very, very respectable height of cut. My lawn was at 3/4 of an inch for much of last year. It's really this year that I've taken it down to half an inch and I maintained it at that the entire season. So good stuff. All right. Let's see. D-Dom says, has a question. He says, I moved into a new development in Flowery Branch, Georgia. How can I tell what kind of Bermuda I have? I can almost promise you that it's probably Tifway. Most contractor or builder sod that they install is Tifway 419. That's going in most places. Unless you actually paid more to get like Tif Grand or Tif Tough, you probably have Tifway 419 D-Dom. And if you're in the Gainesville, Buford, Flowery Branch, Oakwood area, that area, more than likely it's going to be Tifway 419. You can also ask the builder too, right? Like if you haven't closed, or even, again, if the development, they're still building houses in there, you can reach out to the builder and ask them, hey, who did you guys contract with? And they'll be able to tell you what sod they use, and they're probably going to tell you it's Tifway. So more than likely Tifway 419, which is a great, it's a great grass. So it's a good, you're gonna like it. Okay, let's see what other points we have here. What other questions we got going on? D-Dom says, let's see here. SMK says, send to UGA to get genetic analysis, but it's not worth your time. There you go. It says most time for homes is Tifway 419. There you go. I've been validated by the man himself. SMK says, hath spoken. But yeah, it's probably Tifway. Again, unless you're, depending on the subdivision you're in, most of them they're being installing Tifway. So I'm glad that that SMK also concurs that more than likely it's a Tifway 419 lawn. Okay, and let's see what else we have here as far as questions. And Jeremy says, "Let's go, big good day, big bro. Let's go, Bulldogs. Just checking in. Hope all is well. Man, it's torture not mowing after Sandman top dressing lot." No, I hear you, man. I mean, it's it shouldn't take that long to bounce back, Jerry, because Richard, the Sandman top dressing tends to not go super heavy. Unless they went heavy on your lawn, which they generally don't do, you should be no more than like 2 weeks before you can put the mower back on the lawn. Just make sure you raise that height of cut up just a little bit to keep the sand out of the reel and bed knife. But yeah, I mean, you're looking at a couple of weeks at most. With the heat that we've been getting, probably less than that. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. The big thing is you get the top dressing done, man. So enjoy that. Enjoy that, because once it grows through, you're gonna be mowing it all the time. You're gonna be mowing it a ton. So enjoy the little break while you got it. Okay, Lance is up next. He says, I live in Reno, Nevada, and the temperatures are 80 plus. I'm trying to deep water with established KBG lawn while receding bare spots. How should I water? Okay, so Kentucky bluegrass needs a little bit more a little more water than Bermuda. So you didn't say how much water you're putting on the lawn, but if you can get an inch to an inch and a half of water, Lance, especially in the early mornings. Like, so what you haven't explained to me how you're watering the lawn, but what I would say is if you can get your watering done early in the morning, say between 5 a.m.-ish, thereabouts, to where the wind is low, so the water gets on the turf, it gets a chance to soak in before the sun comes up, and begins causing a lot of evaporation. That should help some. I mean, because 80 plus degree temps, I mean, that is hot, but that's not so that's not terrible. I mean, it's not, you do have Kentucky bluegrass. I mean, it is a cool season lawn, so I wouldn't expect it to stay in, like perfectly green like how it is in the spring and how it is in the fall over the summer months. You have to realize what you have, right? So it is going to see some stress in the higher temps, but if you can keep up with your watering, that should help keep any damage or any major stress to a minimum. But I mean, you have to kind of set your expectations, right? It's almost like expecting Bermuda to be completely green in winter. It's just not going to be a thing. So the same thing, your Kentucky bluegrass lawn in Reno, in Nevada, in the desert, in the summertime is probably going to yellow a little bit. It's probably going to fall back a little bit. But the good news is you guys get 2 seasons. You get it to be green in the spring, and in the fall, it's going to be nice and green again. So just keep watering it so you keep it somewhat happy is what I would recommend. If at all possible, water early in the morning. Okay, SMK is talking about, him and D Dom are going back and forth on some questions about watering and sod. S. Bender says, thank you so much. You're very welcome. Thank you so much for chiming in. And let's see here. Guys, I think I've talked you guys out. It's a new record. We actually are getting done before like 11 o'clock for a change, which actually looks pretty good. I'm trying to see if there's any other talking points. Actually, Dwayne has a question here. He says, hey, Ron, I asked the same question on this feed twice. Not sure if you missed it or if it didn't go through on your end. Love the channel and content. I didn't see your question, Dwayne. It might not have gone through because I don't see, I'm scrolling back here. I don't see a question from you. But if you don't mind, yeah, it looks like it didn't go through, but this was a comment did. But if you don't mind, send me an email here because I don't want you hung out in the live stream and I don't want you to not get your question answered. Ron@golfcourselawn.com. This is my email address, ron@golfcourselawn.com. Definitely reach out to me there with an email, and I will. I'll look over your question and I'll make sure I get you a good answer. I'm sorry for some reason, technical difficulties or whatever didn't come through, but I will answer your question if you send me an email. Guys, I think I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to go over with you guys. Make sure to definitely take advantage of that 10% discount from Miramichi Green of everything that's on the golf course lawn store. So again, make sure you guys are there this weekend. Make sure you take advantage of the code when you check out. It's code Memorial Day. That's the code you're going to use. It's only for Miramichi Green products. So again, it's for the Carbon Kit, Release Zero, Essential G. If you guys missed the sale last month when the price was lower, you can still take advantage of that. So 10% up until Monday at midnight is when that code Memorial Day will work. It will start working at midnight tonight. So don't try it now. Try it tomorrow or try it 2 hours from now. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. Guys, it's Memorial Day weekend. Definitely make sure you get out and do something fun. Work in the lawn. It's a great day, a great time to work in the lawn. Also remember what Memorial Day is all about. For all those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice. Show some love and respect. Any veterans, anyone that's serving the armed forces, definitely give some love and support to them as well.